Are we live?
It said we were
Oh
8
yeah, we're
seconds
live.
ago.
We are live. Hold up, I gotta do the Instagram as well. Hold up. We are live.
So
All
I can
righty,
I can
everybody.
share
Welcome
this now,
back
right?
to Hood Conservative. We are live. As everybody hear me and everything. Okay, let me make sure comments. Comments here. Okay, comments are here. We are live. Like I said, we're getting back to our old, way we used to do things. We got Trevi here. I'm here. Vern is out today. She got some things she got to handle, but she may pop in a little bit later. So, you never know. She may pop in a little bit later. Before we get into the subject today, I want to talk a little bit about 4th of July weekend, which is coming up this weekend. And I don't know, I just feel like it's not popping like it's supposed to pop. I mean, I love America and America's
I
great.
love America.
And 250, but when I hear stories about people who were in the first, bicentennial, 1976, and I hear about all the stories about how, America had come together and there were all these different parades and all these celebrations, and America just like, it's just not feeling like that this time. It's feeling like, okay, July 4th,
It's not
yeah, okay,
feeling
it's Saturday.
God bless
Right. I don't even have
America.
any plans for Saturday. That's the crazy shit. I have no plans for Saturday. I mean, I'm here in Philadelphia. I mean, there'll be fireworks. I can actually see, because I have a view of the city from my living rooms. I mean, I could look at the skyline and see a fireworks from my living room if I wanted to. But I honestly thought, like, before Trump got in, I was saying to you earlier that I had did a clip. I did a news hit or whatever on Newsmax. It was one morning with Kim Klacik, and it was like right before the election. It may have been like November of 24, and I was talking about one reason why I wanted Trump to win was because Trump would be in charge of the 250. He's going to make a great spectacle. Trump is a showman, and he has all this experience with with the Apprentice and all that, and it'd be like a way to bring people together. And it's kind of flopping, and a big part of that, to be honest, I think is the war. I think the war turned a lot of people off. The war is just depressing in general. And I think a lot of support that he had, a lot of that, the young men support, the black men support, Latino support, a lot of that just extra support that he had, I don't feel like he necessarily has it as much anymore. It's kind of like a damper on that. And I feel like they spent so much political capital on that. And I also feel like, too, as far as like the inner workings of Trump 250, I just think that my biggest issue with the administration is always the PR. I just think they didn't handle the PR well. Because I think about like, there's no reason why they couldn't have thrown a good concert with halfway decent people, because think about all the rappers that Trump pardoned. He's cool with Nicki now. You know what I mean? Like, and in all the country.
Kodak was at the Kanye concert on Sunday because I was there, so he wasn't getting Kodak.
There's just so much like, but even Kodak, like, I feel like if they would have, went and planned this, we know the left is going to come and they're going to say things. They're going to try to, of course, sabotage it. But I feel like he had so many connections. I just think that they got so caught up in this war thing that they just didn't think about this. I think they kind of kept it as an afterthought, because even those people that they invited, those, the losers, let's just be honest, who they invited, the Vanilla Ice, and Vanilla Ice is a cool guy and everything. But as far as like music concerned, he's obviously not relevant. You know what I mean? I just think they could have gotten much better.
Where was Nicki?
People.
Where was Nicki?
They didn't even ask Nicki. That's what I'm saying. Like,
that's exactly.
They didn't even ask her.
We'll touch on that. We'll touch on that because I spoke on this exact moment in Nicki's career, because she was being used as a mouthpiece and not taking something out of it to pivot off of what she was losing.
And for Nicki, I'm a fan of Nicki. I know you're not necessarily a big fan of Nicki. I'm a fan of Nicki, and I feel like with this,
I'm a fan.
Like, she should have taken this opportunity as a pivot to that new fan base, because MAGA's looking for people. And I feel like this thing could have been the thing. You know what I mean? Like, she might have even, if Trump had better approval rating, she might even snuck and got Drake out there for a surprise. You know what I mean? Honestly, I felt like, this is why I feel so sad. I felt like going into November 5th or 4th or whatever it was, 2024, when we were like Trump, I just knew I was going to be on the mall. 2024, 2026 for the 4th, I was going to be on the mall. It was going to be a big thing. I didn't know what Trump was going to have planned, but I was like, Trump's got to have something planned. He's got all the support from all these people. It's going to be a thing. America, America, America. I was so excited about it. And it's feeling like it's just kind of going to be Yeah, they're gonna have like a rally, but I mean, they could do a Trump rally anytime. I just feel like they did not take advantage of the goodwill that they had. They didn't take advantage of Nikki because Nikki needs to do something to be able to do this pivot because she's not going to get the same fans she got before. So that's over. You know what I mean? Like Cardi B and Lotto and them, they can fight over those people. I think this should have been the pivot. That's just Nikki trying to be more, more religious, less ratchet. This should have been like, I'm working on new music that's more that, and this would have been a perfect place to headline it because no matter what. She couldn't lose because the mall was going to be packed anyway. So they couldn't, it wouldn't have been a flop regardless. This would have been the perfect thing to be able to do that transition. But I feel like so many balls were dropped. I just feel like the PR, I feel like the Trump PR is definitely better this term than it was the first term, definitely. But I feel like with the war thing, they got so caught up into that there were just certain things they could have done to make the fourth better that they just didn't do. Because all those rappers, all the country people, even you got John Rich, you got Kid Rock. Why weren't even in the original Trump 250? And they're way more relevant than whoever they had. So, I mean, they could have made this work if they wanted to do like a Coachella-ish sort of patriotic.
Let me tell you why,
Benji. Sort of
let me tell you why. Trump is a lame duck president. He does not have to run for re-election. He doesn't give a goddamn what anybody thinks, which is why Jared Kushner is now talking about the war in Israel. Donald Trump has no allegiance to anyone now. Everybody who helped, and it was necessary. He had to play ball to be reelected. And I'm one of the people who definitely needed him to get reelected because my life was on the line if he did not win this election. However, Trump has shown us time and time from the time of Palantir, when we are questioning how was Palantir given a 35-year contract, no bidding process, nobody knows what they were doing, nobody knows what they do outside of the fact that they were started by the CIA back in the 1980s. They've changed their name 4 times. They went from Gotham to so on and so forth. And now they get your bank records, they get your IRS records, they get all of your information and you don't know where it's going. And our president turned over the entire country to Peter Thiel, who actually got JD Vance elected. And so now these people who were already information, gophers from the time of PayPal, they own all of our information and our president handed it over on a silver platter and not a single American knows what Palantir is really doing, who they really are, how it is that a CIA agency is now in control of all of the American information. Our president did, and that was the first thing. That was the first thing.
But you think while all this is going on and how corrupt this sounds, that we'd have a really good concert to make us forget about it all. You know what I mean? Like, where are the bread and circuses?
He doesn't care.
Where is it?
He doesn't care. It's typical Trump. He does not care. Once he's at a point where he's in there, he doesn't have to prove anything to anybody. He's going to walk out of here. That is exactly what is happening right now. So there's nothing that we can actually think that he's going to care about at this point.
But you'd think that he would care more about the way in which he is perceived, because I mean, Trump always wants to be, the big guy, looked at as the good guy, So I mean, if you want to be looked at as that guy, because I mean, I understand he's 80 years old. He's not necessarily on the precipice of pop, culture. But this 250th thing is like, it's a flop, as the kids would say. You know what I mean? This is a bunch of flop as Lizzo's album was. This is a flop. You know what I mean? And it didn't have to be. It did not have to be. Like, I don't understand why the 250 people were not working on getting these acts, getting this stuff together. Because basically, everything with Trump is too big to rig. Too big to rig, too big to rig. Had he done, Nikki, all he be part, all the country, it would have been such a big thing that, like, it would have brought the country together. Even people who hated him would be like, you know what? I'm going to go see Nikki, or I'm going to go see, Kodak Black. I'm going to go see this one, or I'm going to go see, whatever. You know what I mean? I just feel like the ball was dropped, and it's just all about this war thing. And now that I guess we're coming out of it. I mean, Lord, I hope so. But now that we're trying to wind this thing down, it's because we're not going to get another 250th. We're never going to be 250 again. I mean, hopefully, God's saying the same. I live for 300. I'll be 92. You know what I mean? I'm 42 now. I'll be 92 then. Hey, anything's possible. You know what I mean? A lot of people are living to that age. So, hopefully it'll be, but I just feel like there could have been so much more from the man who literally hugged the American flag and who's like draped himself in the American flag. I just wish that there were more, I just wish there was more. That's all. So it's kind of sad that it wasn't all it could be.
We've seen it time and time and time now through this
What
term.
are you doing? What are you doing on Saturday? I still got to figure out what the hell I'm doing on Saturday. What are you doing on Saturday?
You know what? I'll be working. on Saturday because I'm not concerned about the 4th of July on any level. Celebrating the 4th of July and flipping some burgers and blah blah blah. I celebrate America every day when I pay my taxes. So I will be working and making money as opposed to spending money because people feel like, oh, I got to go do something. I got to make a plan. No, I've grown far out of that. I understand that economics is the only thing that really matters that has any type of traction. And so I think people need to focus on look at what's happening with this economy. Look at what is happening to the dollar. Look at our oil prices. Look at your grocery prices. Look at this. And those are the things that we need to be preparing for on the 4th of July. Prepare to build your future into where you can have some stability if things just bottom out. That's what I think people need to focus on. And I think these distractions, I think 250 was a distraction. You have to look at our leaders, our politicians, they don't give a damn about America. They steal every penny they can get as fast as they can get it. And then they beg us for more by saying, oh, the economy's low. We need more taxes from the taxpayers. I don't give a
They don't even need it because they're creating money out of thin air.
Because they've stolen it. And what happened to this huge budget that we had for Doge and how they just wrote down every which way we got screwed with sandpaper, but did nothing about it. So this is what people should be thinking about. Fuck 250, fuck the 4th of July. Look at what's happening with your politicians and the people running your government. That's what you need to pay attention for. And you need to have a plan to counteract this bullshit that they're doing and figure out a way to take the same amount of money that they're taking out of the system for yourself. There are ways to navigate. One thing I found, and I wanted to bring this to your attention, Hasidic Jews have been raping our economy in the disability system. So you can have one disabled person in your household. Jews will go and file for disability for every single person in that household because now they're disabled because they have to take care of that disabled person. As soon as the kid turns 18, they go and get disability. So we've got now a household of 8. Every single person is getting a disability check from our government. So now you've got a $50,000 every quarter household of our taxpayer money, and you've got one disabled person in the household. So now everybody's disabled because they got to take care of that person.
I heard that they were doing something, and I wasn't really sure about this, but I was telling somebody about this that I heard about it, that you know how like when you have someone who has like autism or disabled in your home or whatever, they'll pay you to like take care of that person. And
exactly.
I'm not 100% sure on this, but somebody was saying that like the Trump administration is trying to cut a lot of that. So I mean, would that affect that sort of thing? I mean, as far as like the Jewish enclaves are concerned, I mean, we have one, not far from here. I'm from New York, so I'm home. I'm from Brooklyn. I'm home of the Hasidic Jewish population, whatever.
How Jussie Jackson said, "Heiny Town."
And we have Jesse Jack, right? And we have a whole, we have a few of the enclaves. There's the enclave Kiryas Joel, which is in upstate New York, and there's the one closer down here in Philadelphia, on the shore, Lakewood in New Jersey. They have like these enclaves where they like come. The enclaves in general, whether they be Jewish, whether they be Muslim, whether they be whatever, the enclaves kind of scare me. I'm more of a person who believes in an America that is mixed, an America that is, somewhat integrated. Yeah, there'll be neighborhoods and ethnic, whatever, but I just think that when it's so closed and so clustered like that to the point where they're like, because I know you've probably seen the what's that boy's name? The Oliveira boy who made the guy. I should say boy, he's a grown man. Oliveira, the guy who made the video about the Jewish enclave in New Jersey. He went on Tucker and whatever, and and he was talking about how like they'll come
and take your house from you.
And they'll have like the schools will be like public schools, and they'll take over the schools and they'll make them like they do like the boys and girls interests and things like that or whatever. But yeah, I did hear about that, but. Oh, a Palantir factoid. I actually worked at Palantir, not like at Palantir as like a Palantir person. I actually did security at Palantir. Palantir, this was like 2011. Palantir had just opened I don't know if it's open, but they had opened their offices in the meatpacking district in New York. And I remember I got a security job working there, and it was so effing boring. But one thing I do remember about them is that like they had like all these like refrigerators, nothing like free food, free drinks. Like the people who worked there were it's very like that techy kind of like, Silicon Valley vibe. Everybody had like skateboard. They like skateboard around the office. There was like all this like free, like, and I mean like the good drinks, not like Snapples and shit, but like the good drinks. Those ones you got to get from like Whole Foods, like $5 a bottle, and everything's like free and where. So I remember that. Boring as hell doing security there. I probably did. Security is like the worst job in the world. Like God bless security guards. Like I need to be a little more. unless you got something else to do, you bored as hell. But I did, and I didn't even know what the hell a Palantir was. Like I was non-political at that time. This is 2011.
They had just changed their name from Gotham to Palantir at that time. So they used to be called Gotham.
And they literally just opened those offices. Beautiful. I mean, the offices were beautiful offices.
Well, it was a CIA driven. Of course, it's got all of our taxpayer dollars.
And of course, I had no idea at the time. I mean, this was still under Obama, so I had no idea at the time. I was just trying to get me a little check. But this was like 2011. But speaking of, let's move into our first subject of the day. Speaking of bread and circuses, so we were briefly talking about the BET Awards, which I did not watch. I never watched that.
I didn't either.
The BET Awards are not for black people like us. Yeah, they're not for black people like us. I heard he didn't make fun of Jay-Z, which I appreciate that. But and I like that. I like the fact that with Drewski, I will say this about Drewski.
I like Drewski.
Drewski, I do like the fact that he makes fun of everybody. He'll make fun of Erica Kirk. He'll make fun of Jay-Z. And I think that with comedy, the whole point of comedy is that you're supposed to touch those buttons you're not supposed to touch. You're supposed to say that thing I'm supposed to say. Like that is comedy. So I do appreciate Drewski for doing that because it's not like he just makes fun of things that are, that are holy or that are, untouchable just to, conservatives. He makes fun of woke people stuff too. He's definitely making fun of Jay-Z with that hair. And I hear that Jay-Z, he's such a Karen. I feel so sad because I was a big Jay-Z fan when I was growing up. I'm from Brooklyn, obviously. So, and my sister grew up in the same Marcy project that he grew up in. So they knew a lot of the same people or whatever. They're around the same age. I just feel so bad. He's such a Karen now because now he's like getting the video of Drewski dressed up as him, like copyrighted, and you can't post it. And I was like, come on, Kanye. Like,
we're not team like Jay-Z.
Or something.
We are not team Jay-Z. We are not team Jay-Z.
No, not
Go
at
Kanye.
all. Like,
team Kanye.
It's a shame what Jay-Z has become. He's like such a Cameron, like ill gross. But anyway,
he's a slave.
At the BET Awards, I guess what do they want to call him? Far right conservative influencer, fellow J6er, Jake Lang. I don't really pay attention to a lot of these people. I just happen to see their clips on X or whatever. But Jake Lang did this protest outside the BET Awards. Why? I don't know. What was BET doing to you? But let's take a look at this video and we'll talk about it on the other side. So, the guy in the book bag there, that's Jake Lang. I guess that's like a bulletproof vest or something he has on. I'm not sure. That's for the listening audience. He has like a bulletproof vest. On the front of it is American flag. On the back of it, there's like a Confederate flag and some type of like cross thing. I don't know whether it's like a Nazi thing. Everything's a Nazi thing nowadays. God knows what that is. And he is fighting with the people outside. It's not much. I don't see anybody with him. It just seems to be him by himself. I don't know who's with him. And they have
he
signs
shows up.
Say, like,
he goes to these locations. He goes to these locations and he brings a camera crew so that he can get attention. This was the one moment I was waiting for a brother to come and bust him in his head and knock him out. This would have been the prime moment for one of them to come and put him on the ground, literally.
So these types of things, these type of events, I don't get it. Like I don't get the point of this. Like going back to like, Chud the Builder or even Don Lemon, when Don Lemon came to those people's church or whatever, I don't see any value in randomly going up to people and antagonizing them for the camera. Like it's the BET Awards. So you're gonna bring a sign that says blacks are bad parents, and this is supposed to go over well. Like I don't what do you expect of this? You know what I mean? Like this is, and it's so annoying. Same thing with like Chud the Builder. It's like, oh well, nigger, and then you're tripping out. It's like, but you're going and you're antagonizing people. Same thing with when Don Lemon went inside those people's church or whatever. Like you're going there, you're talking crap about these people, talking about their comfortable white lives, and you're like in their church, they're minding their business. Like, look, the BET was again. As we said, I didn't watch the BET Awards, just not really viewing that for me. Obviously, I'm not a woke person. A lot of the music they're celebrating, you know what I mean? It celebrates a lot of degeneracy and things. It's not even good like music celebrating degeneracy. It's mostly crap. Anyway, I'm not into it. but I'll just simply like not watch it. You know what I mean?
So
the only reason why we're even
Jake
talking about
Lang,
it today is because of this protest. So, but I would never go up to, I don't know, let's say, let's say Nick Fuentes had a thing, right? And it was like an anti-black or like a Goiper thing or whatever. As much as I obviously don't agree with that being anti-black or whatever, obviously, I'm not going to like show up there and start crap with them. Like, what is the point? I just feel like the clout chasing has gone so far.
The illusion of racism is very, very powerful today because they have to have things like this to take the attention off the war. And people, I mean, we have been a part of wiping out an entire country. Okay, we have funded it. We have stood by idly. We have allowed this president and this administration to fund and weaponize um, Gaza. And this is where we are right now. So they had it, the war is so bad right now. There was just a bombing in South Lebanon that just wiped it out completely. So we are responsible for that. Whether the people want to believe that, oh, well, that don't have anything to do with me. Eventually, it will always have something to do with you. So we've stopped fighting. I don't even know why we've stopped fighting. Like, we should have been in the street a long time ago.
What's funny is that in his comments, because Jake Lang posted this or whatever, and in his comments, you have, and I love this, you have like white MAGA people. These are not like, you know, black woke. These are white MAGA people saying like, this is ridiculous. Why are you there? You must be a Fed. You're starting shit on purpose. Why would you do this? And it does. And the thing is, it does not help Trump, it does not help MAGA, it does not help Republicans at all, because this is another thing.
Actually, nobody cares.
That the wokies can say, like, look at the racist white man, because you know this is on all the black blogs, you know it's on the neighborhood talk, you know it's on the shade room, like it was like, oh, see, look, and then he has the J6 thing, so like this is one of Trump's people. He's at the BET. What's like Trump don't even know the BET.
It's all intentional, Benji. It's all intentional. All of this is planned out, and him not getting laid out by a black man. He showed up with the right people. Like, he will bring his own black people to make a scene, because any real black man down there and he came up pulling up like that, they gonna lay him on the ground. Well, that's why I can tell you,
I'm actually glad that no black people did lay him on the ground.
Actually, it's time. Like that, Jake Lang has been causing too many problems. Jake Lang has been on this Muslim fight thing. Jake Lang has caused too many problems, and it's the time is now. Sometimes we have to eradicate people who stir up this type of just rigmarole. And that's who Jake Lang is. He has weaponized the J6 situation, and I'm a J6er. So I don't even want him attached to me. That's why it's time for somebody to lay him down. It's time.
But I don't think he should be attached. Exactly. That's my issue. I don't think he should be attached to anything having to do with the right, because
and that's why it's time for him to be laid down.
Especially to the greater, you know, black public who doesn't pay attention to all these things on another thing. All they're going to see is J6er out there at the BET Awards starting crap. So he must represent Trump. And this is how Trump feels about black people. And that's how the whole thing gets started over again. It's like in his book, Trump don't even know the BET Awards are going on. You know what I mean? Trump's doing his own thing, mind his business.
Look, they all know what's going on, Benji. Benji, this is the thing. We have to stop thinking that they don't know what's going on at the top. As somebody who plays in these circles, they always know what's going on at the top. And most of the time, any news you see, that news has been pre-planned, pre-concocted. I know that because we make the stories for everybody to read and get upset about. Jake Lang is just an anger trigger for black people, for Muslims. And it's time that he be eradicated to stop all this division and this racism that he is intentionally and being funded to provoke. Jake Lang is funded. He's funded.
The easiest way to eradicate him rather than violence, which is what he wants, because remember, he wants to be a martyr, rather than that, would be just to ignore. Because honestly, this is all for clout.
It's too much. And he comes, so Muslims didn't care about him. Muslims don't care about it because we know who we are. You know what I'm saying? I'm a proud American and I'm a proud Muslim, and I stand on it 10 toes down. And we know, so we don't pay attention to Jake Lang when he starts up his little Muslim crap. Now, black people, on the other hand, are way too emotional because they're not smart enough to see through the bullshit. And so he knows that, oh, the Muslim thing didn't work for me, so let me go back to black people. And that's where he is right now. And that's what's happening.
We need to ignore, because when we were talking, I was on a podcast. I don't even know. I do so many of these damn things. But we were talking about the whole Chud the Builder thing before he got arrested, and how Chud the Builder, there was a part where he went somewhere in Nashville, and there was like a black police officer, like another black guy. He started his whole nigger thing, and they ignored him. He looked like a fucking
Call
idiot.
Me all the niggers you want,
because
this
the
nigger
point
is
he
rich.
wants that reaction. And I even feel like with this Jake Lang thing, honestly, I don't even think there was even that much of a reaction. Like you said, I wouldn't be surprised if he did bring his own black people, because I don't think anybody really cared. Because this is not like this is a Black Lives Matter protest. This is the BET Awards. So I'm here to see big celebrities and stars. I don't give a damn about, nobody knows this random ass person is outside starting shit. You know what I mean? So it's not like it's going to affect anything inside. I just think that he is another person who's trying to get, because I mean, I tell people all the time, what is the easiest way to get fame? Triggering black people is like the easiest way to get fame. Easy is. If you want to be famous on the internet, trigger black people. Whether you're, even me, if I was one of those conservatives that went, all black people are dumb and the dumb blacks and blah, 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 I'd be out here. I'd be on everybody's, podcast. Everybody's there. I'd be everything. But because I'm nuanced, because I actually do care and love black people and want to show black people, the error of our ways, because I was a former wokey myself and I actually give a damn about black people. No, right. I'm not going to be as big as, some of these other creators that do all this, like, the blacks are dumb and black people are dumb. And that's why. But this is the easiest way to fame. It works for everybody. And even Nick Fuentes has kind of like come off of a lot of that shit because it's corny at a certain point. It's like, we see what you're doing. The shit is corny. How many more times you're going to say the same thing over and over again? And this Jake Lang to me is just like, why is he even a thing? Like, why? I think if you're a person who hates black people or whatever, then you'll listen to him. If you're looking for someone to validate whatever feelings that you have. But this Jake Lang person is not somebody who's even really relevant for real. He's not making any real moves outside of anywhere. As you can see at the BET thing, it was like 5 people out there. What I hate is that it's going to be disseminated to all the black blogs and all the people that don't know, don't pay attention. They're going to think this is a way bigger thing. Because again, buzzwords, J6er. So now he's one of Trump's people. Trump has his people at our BET Awards starting crap. And this is what Trump feels about black people. Is very much like, we'll talk later, the whole Jussie Smollett thing. You know what I mean? We'll take this and we'll funnel it back. It becomes political. It's such bullshit. And really, Jake Lang is not helping Trump or his movement. He's actually making things much worse for Trump, but he's only helping himself.
Nobody cares about any movements anymore, Benji.
He cares about himself.
He's not a movement. That fool is a fool that somebody's gonna put in the ground because he's acting a fool.
Movement. But again,
he's not a movement.
If he were put in the ground, or if he were eradicated away, if he were hurt, he's going to raise a GoFundMe. He's going to get Give, Send, Go. He's going to get $1 zillion.
To who? He has nobody around him.
The same people that would fund Chud the Builder would fund him. There are people who are into this foolishness. And my thing is like, the best thing, because like if it were me, I'm just going to walk away and ignore this person. Because again, he wants my time. He wants my attention.
But see,
I tell black folks all the time.
Yeah, you're
outrage is valuable. Don't give them that value.
You're contradicting yourself because you chose this clip about Jake Lang to give Jake Lang this value, which is why we're talking about Jake Lang. So I mean, we talk about things.
I did. We talk about things. The reason why I talked about it and why I felt it was more important to bring this, because I want for anybody black to see this, to tell you, don't be triggered by this, because you see what this is. You know what I mean? So it's not about so much giving him whatever, but it's about, we see what these things are. Stop being fooled by it. Stop getting triggered by it. Because I've done this on a few different occasions.
You know what we don't realize, Benji? Most people don't even know what's going on. It's not until we bring these things to their attention that because I'm going to tell you, I didn't even know that happened at the BET Awards, and I'm definitely black.
Well, see, I knew it happened because I saw it on the black blogs. So I was like, oh, God, here we go. When I saw it on the Shade Room, and I said, see, this is the foolishness that happened. So it's already out there. You know what I mean? So it's already doing, Laverne just said, hey, Laverne.
Hey, Laverne.
Laverne just said, hey, Laverne. So, it's already happening. And by the time it gets to the black blogs now, the damage is already done. You know what I mean? Now it's going to be a thing where they can take this now, and all the people that, are on CNN and whatever, that, all the normal people, they'll be able to say, see, and they have this J6. Because remember, J6 means Trump. So they have this J6er person of Trump to go out there now, and he's bothering black people. So it's the psyop. Like, it's not so much about uplifting Jake Lang, but I want black folks and other folks to see the psyop. And I also appreciate the people that are in MAGA, the white folks who were like, this is bullshit. We don't stand for this. We don't stand for this guy. This guy does not represent us. You're a J6er. He doesn't represent you. So that's the reason why. Honestly, I don't like to give it but so much burn, but I feel like we need to understand what this psyop is. And the good news is from it, besides it going to the blogs and it being a thing, whatever, the actual event itself was a nothing burger. Like if I drove past, I wouldn't even think this was anything. There was like 5 people there. As you said, he probably brings his own black people because I didn't even
He
see,
does.
nobody even was
It's
really
a
triggered
scene
by
he
it for
brings.
real.
Because when I tell
So,
you, if he was real black men out there, somebody would have laid him out. That's why I know that was an entire psyop.
black
Because he would
men
have
do,
got laid out.
black men don't lay
You
him
come
out.
into
He's
the
not worth
BET
it.
Awards with a sign that says black people are bad parents.
And
And
even
wait,
that,
hold on,
like
hold on. But hold on. There is some validity to that. But how it is that you want to express that and how you did that, that was supposed to be a night of black excellence, and you came in and you violated that way. If there were real black men out there, he would have knots all over his head. Not That's why I say it's his own camera crew, it's his own black people. He brings his entire up and he sets up wherever he sets up, which are only 5 people out there, like you said.
well,
And so this is why Jake Lang is a non-fucking factor. And this is
he
why
is.
we need to stop giving him any type of verbiage and putting his name into the universe, because that Negro will be dead sooner than later because he's going to mess with the wrong one sooner than later. So let him keep running his mouth and
I
causing all this problem, causing all these issues. Let him keep doing it. The right one's going to come along, and we're not even going to hear about Jake Lang no more. I guarantee you.
see. That's what I'd be afraid of. Black men of America.
I'm not. I'm
Don't lay
not.
his ass down because then he dies. He becomes a martyr,
Eye for
and
an
then he
eye.
lives forever,
Eye
and
for
this
an eye.
becomes a thing.
If he could get away with laying you down, he probably would. So that's how I look at it.
Probably.
You know what I mean?
But
That's
who
how I look
cares?
at it. If
Like
he could
he's
get
just such
away
a
with it, he would
non-factor.
do.
But I don't want
Right.
nobody to have to go to jail for he's not worth it. He's not worth it. Ignore, move on, walk away. And actually, I'll do
Right.
you one better. I don't like the whole, and again, I know, we all love Charlie and everything, but the whole genre of going to the college campus and putting a table down and arguing people, I don't like any of that. I don't think any of that is helpful. I think
I
it's
think
all
dialogue is.
politics.
I think he was
I
having
don't like it.
dialogue. I think what Charlie was doing was actual dialogue, and
I
he
do.
rarely ran into a really educated student that could call his bluff when he was pitching or conversating about the topics that
I would
USA
say
wanted him
Charlie
to hit.
is not as bad as some of the other people, like the Crowder guy. Other people, like, because you're
Right.
putting like an offensive thing, like on it, like all blacks are dumb. Prove me wrong. Like, come on, you know what I mean? Like, you're. This is
Right.
not good faith. This is not,
Right.
you know what I mean? This is not even in
Right.
the whole Jubilee thing. All that just trying to destroy people. I'm more of a, I'm about conversation. I'm about
Shout out
nuance.
Kansas Owens. Shout out Kansas Owens and fuck Erica Kirk. How about that?
I mean, I'm no fan. I'm definitely a fan of
I'm
what.
just keep it 100. Let
Oh, no,
me
I'm a
just shout
fan of
that
what
out.
Candace is doing, and I'm glad that she's looking and going deeper into, everything going on. I do watch Candace. I mean, I don't watch her every day, but I do dip in and out or whatever. And I do look, hey, if I die, I want Candace looking after my shit
You know
because,
what
okay,
I'm
she gonna
saying?
find out
You know what
what's
I'm
up. You know
saying?
what I mean? So I would
How are
definitely
you gonna
appreciate
get
that.
mad? How are you
So
gonna get mad at
I'm not
somebody
mad at that.
looking
And
into your husband's
I was
death? How are you
I was
gonna be
talking to a
mad?
friend about that yesterday, and my thing about the whole Charlie Kirk thing is that, like, you can't really get mad at her for looking into that, and also the story. No matter how you may feel about it, it doesn't make sense. Like none of these things make sense. Just the way.
No.
First of all, number one, why is the crime scene covered up? That doesn't happen for anybody. The crime scene's covered up,
Cemented. Do
paved
you
over in
hear me?
days.
And then
What?
the factory in Tennessee that made the explosive just blew up and killed everybody in the building.
It's
That
too many.
right there.
It's too many things. You know what I mean?
And
It's
too
too
many
many things.
lies from Erica. And too many lies from
and
Erica.
and as someone who is a wife, you would think that you would be a little bit more distraught, or you would have a little bit more. You wouldn't just believe what people say. You know what I mean? You wouldn't just like, okay, well, the government said this, I'm just gonna believe, and there's like no type of pushback. There's no, like, if someone of mine died, I'm sorry, I'm gonna be looking a little bit deeper.
I'm
It's
not
not gonna
gonna
be just
sleep.
we just move on. I didn't
I'm
even
not
think
gonna
about her
sleep.
taking over as CEO as being so like suspicious, because again, I come from the church, so like a lot of times in church situations, if it's like a pastor and like the wife is like the associate pastor, whatever, the wife would step up, and it's kind of like, so that's not a foreign thing to me. What's
Right.
weird to me is just how she's going about anybody who has questions. Like, why are you shunning people who have questions? Like, you should have the same question over anything. You should say, well, I won't say whatever, but Candace, definitely do that on the low, because I want to know too. You know what I mean? Like, it's like,
Right.
why are you not offering any type of support? Why are you making it so that this is like the enemy? And at the end of the day, I mean, I feel like Candace is like the only person who's really genuinely looking for
And I
answers as far
respect
as
it. I
Charlie's concerned.
appreciate
I
it.
respect it too. I mean, that's a real
I really
friend.
don't even care. I will watch Candace more than I'll watch the president at this point. Because I
Well,
feel
I
like
mean,
this administration covered up Charlie Kirk's death.
a lot of people are watching
And
Candace more than the president
you know what I'm
nowadays. I
saying?
mean, you see
I
her.
will watch
Yes,
Candace before I watch Trump.
Candace has more YouTube subscribers than Tucker and Megan.
You know
And
what I'm
this is
saying?
from my.
I will
So I mean,
watch
I got to
Candace
give it
before
to
I
her from a
watch
chick who
Trump.
started from nothing. I remember the first time I ever saw Candace on TV. I remember where I was. I was doing Uber. I was an Uber driver. This was like 2017. I saw her on Waters World, which was this before Jesse Waters got the primetime night show. He used to have a show on Saturdays called Waters World. It was like Saturday night, 8 o'clock. That was the first time I ever saw Candace. And then I remember I met Candace. I went to the first YBLS, and my thing is, no matter what you say about Candace, I always have respect for her because that YBLS, the first one that she did, inviting all them 600, young black kids from the hood to the White House, she didn't have to do that. Think about how many people get into that place and don't reach a hand back for anybody. You know what I mean? Think about how many people, and you know what I know. We know people in the industry of talking politics and government and whatever, right wing, whatever. How many people get to a certain place? They get around Trump, get around the White House, and they don't give a damn about nobody but themselves, and it's all about them. We know plenty of people like that. We have plenty of stories, I'm sure. So I appreciate that Candace did that.
This is what I'll say about when you were talking about numbers and her having more numbers than Tucker and Megan. You know why Candace has more numbers than Tucker and Megan? From the percentage of Black people who have crossed over to listen and pay attention to Candace. There's no room for Tucker's audience to grow. There's no room for Megan's audience to grow. You know whose audience has room to grow? Candace is reeling in the Black population with her truth.
And I don't even think it's just the Blacks. I think what I like about what Candace has done, because when Candace first started, Candace is very much on the whole, Brexit, whatever. And she was bordering on that, kind of teetering on that, talking shit about Black people together. That's why for a few years I stopped rocking with Candace. They're around that Ahmaud Arbery-ish time around there. I was like, yeah, you're doing a little too much for me. It's not. So I kind of got off from her from that. I didn't like it because I'm not a person who is just going to go and just insult Black people, just to insult Black people. And I understand a lot of the woke, a lot of it's ignorance. You know what I mean? Saying they call me a coon, it's ignorant. You're saying that because you don't know any better. You're trained to say that I was a wokey too. I guess so. It doesn't bother, it falls on my back. Those insults don't permeate because they're coming from people who are ignorant. So it's
I'll be your favorite nigger. I will be your favorite nigger.
You don't know anything, so I don't mind being a coon. If you're going to call me a coon, whatever. You know what I mean? Who cares? You know what I mean? Again, I have my raccoon hat here, I'll bust this on, you know what I mean? I'll be a coon. It's not a big deal. I don't care. But what I didn't like that she was doing that whole thing. What I do like what Candace has done now, I see she's kind of pivoted toward being, especially now with the advent of a lot of the talk shows are going. We don't really have the talk shows anymore now. So Candace is more of a women's daytime talk show with a little bit of crime.
I think she's an investigative. I think she's a great investigative reporter. Yeah. And I think that is what people need now. They don't want to go for we've heard it all before.
She does her thing for the sleuth moms. She has an audience of women, moms, people who are and it's all colors. It's not just Black. It's Black, it's white, it's everybody. People just want it. So she has the moms, and she also has the conspiracy theorists. Think about how big Alex Jones has been all these years. So it's she kind of taps into that market, but she gets the moms. She's also Black at the same time. So I'm proud of what Candace has done.
And then you're missing one important piece, and then there's the Kanye effect.
Yeah, that too.
And so
the Cardi B effect. The Cardi
B effect has nothing to do with Candace. I'm talking about the element.
Why. The reason why I said the Cardi B effect is I remember the day that Candace went from just us knowing her to the greater public.
And then when she put Cardi in her place.
Cardi B, and I saw that live. I remember I was working. I was in my car. She had tweeted something about Cardi or whatever, and Cardi was trying. And I was thinking to myself, Cardi, you're so fucking dumb because Candace loves this right now. You're making her if you wanted to shut her up again about Jake Lang thing. Like I was saying, when you give people attention, it only makes them bigger because that's when Black folks started to really know who the hell Candace was outside the political sphere. Outside, that's when she became a household name. Was her going back and forth with Cardi B. So there was the Kanye thing, then the Cardi B thing, and what I like about her, she's smart enough to have used it and created a whole media empire out of it. So, end of the day, my hat's off to Candace. I will always appreciate the fact that she took us all us black kids, I wasn't quite a kid, but from the hood, brought us to the White House 2018. We met Trump. She did not have to do that. You know what I mean? How many other people? I don't think anybody's done anything like that since. You know what I mean? So
Were you
always
at the
respect
Young
that.
Black Leadership?
I was at the first one. Yes, I
You
was
were
there. I was
there?
at the first
Okay.
one.
Okay. I was actually there too. Yeah.
And what's funny is that my best friend was there, but we hadn't met each other at the time. And in my picture, Candace, she's in the picture too, but we didn't know each other until like 2 years later. Freaking crazy how that happened. But yeah, I love that. I love that Candace made that opportunity because she didn't have to do that. She did in the beginning, and I will always have respect for her for that, no matter what she do. Even in the times when I was kind of like, I ain't really like you doing a little too much of the bashing black folks, you know what I mean, for clicks, for me too much. But I still always have respect for her because again, she didn't have to do that. But yeah, Jake Lang, no respect for Jake Lang.
I think my respect for Candace goes a little bit further because I think she was smart enough to marry well. And I think that has also helped her empire from from behind the scenes.
Yeah.
I remember he was the CEO of a large media network, which at the time I was working with Kanye said, okay, yes, I'm going to now bring all my business over to this media platform. So she was able to negotiate that for her husband. And all of those things just kept avalanching. And here we are, her best friend is dead, murdered, slaughtered on national television, and the wife of her best friend is mad at her for digging into the facts of her best friend's murder.
So I have a theory, and I haven't shared this to anybody, but I talked to a friend about this yesterday. I have a friend who she's another podcaster, but she's like really, really into this whole Candace thing or whatever. She talks about a lot. And I said, this is my theory now because I've been catching up on Candace. Like Candace is something I kind of like binge watch, so I don't do every day. I'll like let it lapse like a week or two, then I'll just start watching everything as I'm working, whatever. This is the thing, right? Because remember, Candace's new thing she's saying is that like when she had went over to Tucker's house after that whole thing that happened or whatever with them before Charlie was killed or whatever, when they did the thing with Tucker and they were all over there talking, and she said that like Erica was on like the whole thing Charlie was on. I'm sick of, these, Israeli people bullying him, whatever. And it's just like Erica just changed. And then you think about all the connections that Erica has in her past life with the next modeling and the whole thing where it's almost like some Ghislaine Maxwell sort of like shit. So I said to my friend, what if the same people, because when you think about it, how, because again, if we believe what Candace is saying is true, Erica went from being on the same type of thing that Charlie was on to being totally pro, Israeli. What if they're blackmailing Erica too? What if they have something on her from her whole modeling thing? What if there is like a trafficking, and this is all alleged, obviously. What if there is a real trafficking thing with Erica, and those people came and said, look, Erica, either you get on our program or we expose you? Because it's just crazy how she can just switch overnight. And the thing is that if your husband's being bullied by these people, how are you going to be cool with them the next day?
I don't think that was it. I don't think that was it at all. Erica is not as innocent as what America would like to give.
That's what I'm saying. And I think that
they want her to be that blonde, blue-eyed angel, and she's come from a demon family. Her mother has been involved with some of the most corrupt and most powerful elements in power. Okay, so it wasn't that, oh my God, Erica just found Charlie Kirk. No, Erica has been, how you groom Tiger Woods to be a golfer and G.W. Bush and H.W. Bush to be presidents. Erica Kirk was groomed from the time she was young to be exactly where she is right now. She's been protected this entire time.
Ultimately.
And no. What is now the downfall of Erica Kirk? We all know that she is most likely complicit in what happened to Charlie. Number two, we know she's a psyop for Israel. Number three, her family has been involved in this whole situation. Number four, we, the people, have been watching and waiting for the moment that Erica falls, and it will be glorious because it is on the way. It's just, she's a ticking time bomb, and they may have to just kill her off and blame some crazy just to clean up this situation, because Erica Kirk is on a razor blade slope and cutting her ass right on open, and everything, all the truth and the lies are about to come out. So
mean
it's
like
just
a lone gunman who kills a lone
alone.
gunman, like with Kennedy, like that?
Exact, like to
What,
clean up this
the lone
situation.
gunman?
To
Yeah.
clean up this situation, they gonna have to take out Erica Kirk because she too dirty now. She too messy. If she would have just went away and was quiet instead of getting up with fireworks and sparkling
But that's
suits.
the thing. Maybe she was trying to go away, but again, they have all this stuff on her. So it's like so where would she go? Because all that
No,
stuff you were
no,
saying,
no. I
all things that
guarantee
can be
you.
blackmailed, all things that they could say, we got this on you, so you better cooperate and act like this is all good because they need
Because then
her.
she knew before Charlie got killed. Then
They need
so
her.
she knew. So that's why I'm saying it's all going to come out. Erica is just look. It'll just be a matter of time for her. Because most likely her mama, her family, you got to look at Charlie Kirk's parents. How have they not been able to say a fucking word? That's how controlled this
I
situation
mean,
is. You haven't heard a
honestly,
single thing
they
from Charlie Kirk's
probably
parents.
don't want any parts of this because again, if they get involved, then they become a target. You know what I mean? It's a shame to
Look,
say it.
if it's my
They've already
kid and
lost
you
their
took my
son.
kid out, I'm just gonna have to be a target because I'm putting everybody on blast. You done wiped out my kid on national television, and now I got to be quiet and go sit in the corner. Then I have to
Does
wonder
he
if
have
the
brothers and
parents knew.
sisters? Does he have siblings? Because they
I
may be
think he
trying to
has a
protect their other
sister. I'm
children.
not for sure. I
They
think
may
he
be trying
has
to
a
protect their
sister.
other
No, 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 no,
children.
no. So I know Erica has a sister, and then Charlie has a sister. And at the processional, you could see Charlie's sister looking at Erica's family like you fucking demons. But yeah, so it's
Because more than
it's
likely, because
it's an
again,
interesting
because
situation.
his parents and his sister didn't sign up for what? Because on some level, not to say anything bad about Charlie per se, but Charlie had to sign up and get in bed with these people on some level. You know what I mean? His
He knew
parents
it.
didn't
He
sign
knew
up for
it.
that. You know what I mean? And that
Turning
maybe
Point
he got
USA
in,
is a look. It's a
got in
money
too deep,
laundering. It's a
obviously,
money
and wanted to get
laundering.
out. But
Turning Point
his
USA
parents didn't
is a
sign up, and they
money
probably have their
money
own
laundering
other kids to
institution.
worry about. And
That's all
I'm sure,
TPUSA is. It's a
yeah, and
money
I'm sure his
laundering company.
parents got their other kids to worry about. So it's like, look, we didn't sign up to get involved, and because you didn't see his parents at the things and all in the, you know what I mean? They were living their lives as normal private lives. So it's like we don't want to necessarily get involved into this whole thing because it may put their family and their other children in danger because they didn't have to sign up. This is all, his thing, you know what I mean? This political thing or whatever. So, but all that to say, no respect for Jake Lang over here at all.
No.
At all.
Well, and no respect for Turning Point USA because it's just a money laundering institution. That's all TPUSA is, and it's dead. As far as the fervor that it
Oh
had
yeah.
when Charlie was alive, it's over. It's done. People have woken up.
When is their next thing? Because I mean, they're not going to have Tucker there. So who are they going to have? Ben Shapiro? Like what?
A
Like
bunch of
it's dead.
nobodies, a bunch of
It's
nobodies
dead.
that are willing to kiss ass and be slaves to the system. That's all that's remaining.
Well, they got that new
Again,
black kid, whatever his name. You've seen the new black kid, the one from the Jubilee thing. I don't know him, but
look,
he's working for the Daily Wire now, so
there's
he'll
no
probably
new
speak.
black kid. There's no new black kid. I'm going to tell you right now. There's no new black kid that's
But you know
ever
what I'm talking
going
about,
to.
right? The kid with the afro that was on the
I've
Jubilee
seen
thing.
them coming. Look, they have to bring a new slave in to replace the ones that are no longer playing ball. And that's
Yeah.
there are no more mouthpieces right now. What we have are those who are willing to get into the street and fight and put their lives on the line. You got people like Candace. You have people can talk, but they don't want to fight. You know what I'm
No.
saying? And I feel like that's the difference between an American and an American on the sideline. And so I feel like, look, everybody's got to hit the street right now from the way this economy is, the wars, everything, all your rights being taken from, like, nobody's willing to fucking
The
fight.
the
And
one
that's
thing I
why
love about Candace and what she said about all of them. She said, y'all want war, I'm here for it. You know what I mean? We
I'm
can
here
like y'all
for it.
want
I'm
war,
here for it.
TPUSA, I'm here for it. You know
I'm
what I mean?
here for it.
She's
I'm
not
right with
playing.
her. I am willing to fucking get out in the street. I don't give a shit. Like you only get what you risk. I tell everybody's all, well, why? I don't know if I could do that. No, you only get what you risk. And if you're not willing to risk it all, you're never gonna get it all.
And
And
the
so
thing is that if enough of us come together, and that's the thing with with the Jake Langs and with all these psyops and all this division, if enough of us come together, there's way more of us than there are of them. I say that about like the taxes, the whatever. If like I'm not big on protests, I don't believe in it. I think it's like, I mean, yeah, civil rights movement, fine, that's fine. 60 years ago, that's fine. But in these days and times, doesn't make any sense, especially when you have like especially the Democrats telling you, get out in the street and fight. What the fuck am I getting out in the street and fight if you're elected for? The whole point of me fighting was to get your ass elected. That's when my grandmama got hit with the hose and shit to get your black ass in. And now I got to do more marches. It's bullshit. But the one march I will do, we have the bipartisan, biracial, Tifo Moyihibo in Washington say, fuck these taxes. Oh, that's the one. That one? Sign me up for that shit. That's the shit, because they can't stop everybody. They can't arrest everybody. You know what I mean? But the thing is that we have to always be so divided to where if we ever were to come together, we actually could run this country and make it into something good, something for everybody. But we have to be with color and racism and we have to always find a way, which is why I hate to see displays like what Jake Lang has done here, because it's like, I already know, I see the end of the psyop already. This is a psyop designed to further cut a wedge between Trump and black people, because this J6er now represents Trump. So it's like, he's out there again. And the sign, so he even had the sign held up. Black people are bad. Like, if you were going to have, to me, if you were going to do that and you were going to start some shit, say like Jewish record labels run black people and put, like, there's so many more ways you could have, you know what I mean, done that if you were trying to go that route. But just going so cheap and dumb.
But he's funded by Jews. That's the problem with Jake Lang. He's funded by Jews, so you're never going to hear him say anything about Jews.
Really?
He's funded by, look at what he had to go from the Muslim to the black people because black people just tend to be too emotional, not smart enough to see through the rigmarole. Muslims like, fuck you, bro. As far as like per capita of what we make and what our average salaries are, we're doctors and scientists and tech people. We don't give a fuck about Jake Lang.
Speaking of Muslims, since you're Muslims in Chicago, whatever, what do you think of the outrage surrounding people saying that they are upset that Obama has not acknowledged the passing of Farrakhan's wife? Him or Michelle have said nothing. Do you feel the way about that? How do you feel about that?
You know what? I don't think that it is their obligation to comment on that. I don't think that they had any relationship with them in Chicago. The Nation of Islam is based in Chicago. They don't have as you saw, that Obama would never go sit down and talk to Farrakhan. You know what I'm saying? Like, he never made that. He never pushed that olive branch out to even, because Obama was funded by the Jews. So it's not, he's not going to say anything because he's never been on the side of making right or trying to have an olive branch and have a conversation.
I wasn't all that political back then, Obama. I just voted for him because everybody else did. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, even I voted for Hillary in the primary. I was like, I don't know this Hussein nigga. I voted for Hillary. I was like, I know Hillary. I'm from New York. She was our senator. I know Hillary.
Look,
I don't know
it's
this
on
nigga.
record. I gave Hillary Clinton like $15,000, like during that time. It was on record.
I don't believe in politicians none of my money.
I was dumb. I was definitely dumb.
Y'all need my fucking money.
I was definitely dumb then.
Yeah, y'all never get on my fucking money. I don't play that.
I could invest in that.
Much I love Trump, much as I done supported Trump, voted for him 3 times. You'll get my vote, but you ain't getting none of my money. No, Trump need my money. Hillary don't need my money. None of y'all niggas need my money. But anyway, I always thought, even though I didn't pay attention so much back in the day, I thought that like Obama and like obviously he couldn't like go and just like do a full-throated endorsement of Farrakhan. I thought they was kind of like, all right, you know what I mean? I thought they was somewhat just to get the black folks kind of wrapped in. I thought they was kind of all right, you know what I mean? I thought they had like a mutual respect. Because even growing up in the church, obviously I'm Pentecostal, very much Christian, whatever. We would have a lot of like respect for, obviously that's not our religion, but we have a lot of respect. The black community, even the black Christians, have a lot of respect for Farrakhan. You know what I mean? Never really had an issue with him, per se. And even at Aretha Franklin's funeral, he was on the podium, up there with the ministers or whatever. So I always thought it was kind of cool. So I don't know. I didn't really know what to think about the Obama thing with the Farrakhan thing. I felt like maybe he should have probably said something.
He's never had a conversation with Farrakhan. Yeah, okay. He's never had there's never been the choice of a conversation. And actually, just so you know, I actually, right before our 2024 election, I sent a notice to the Nation of Islam for them to sit down and talk with Trump. And so that, as you can see with Miriam Adelson and so on and so forth.
Yeah, I think had Miriam not got there first, I think he would have done it. One thing I do like about Trump, Trump is pretty much willing to talk to anybody, which I do appreciate. Because he doesn't. One thing about like people say like people try to give Trump like this like Trump has all these like ideals of it. Trump's not really an ideological type person. He just wants to win. So it's like if winning means talking to you, okay, then winning means talking to you, okay. It's not like so much like where he's like we've got to be like this. Like he's not really so much that, and I actually appreciate that about Trump. A person like that is very workable. Which I always feel like black people we dropped the ball so much with Trump for real because we have gotten so much out of Trump.
No.
But the Congressional Black Caucus wouldn't have that.
Let's not talk about the 2016 and the 2020. Let's talk about where we are right now. Remember, we had all of these, Trump was pushing these agendas for black people. That was because he knew he was going to have to run for re-election. If you look at it right now, is there a black agenda? Remember, Trump had black agenda. I mean, he had us rolling out. We were all over Georgia, all over everywhere, pushing this black agenda for the president. There is no black agenda anymore. And that again falls back to he doesn't care anymore. He's a lame duck president. And now it's just like, let's make sure everybody gets their money. Oh, buy an island over in Albania? Oh, yeah. And fortunately, we should be more like Albanians. We really should be more like Albanians because they're like, fuck y'all. Y'all not coming over here and exploiting us.
I get the lame duck thing, but the thing is that he's not quite a lame duck after the midterms. And if the Democrats take over, his duck is going to be impeached every 5 seconds. So I would think.
Let me just tell you right now. Let me tell you right now. That's not true, Benji. Everybody running for office needs to cover their own behind. This war is not favorable for any candidate right now, even though in the back rooms they turn around and they send more money to Ukraine and they send more money to Israel, but they just don't talk about it publicly anymore. This is the Ukraine war. When you look at it, that's another money laundering scheme, which is why every politician keeps voting for it because they get their cut every time they vote for it. So now this is where we have to understand. We cannot vote for the party line situation anymore. That game is over. There's no Democrat, there's no Republicans. It's all one crew. Okay, they go and they sit down and they drink. Hey, did you get your cut of that? Did you get your cut of that?
We have to be unpredictable. And I think what our problem is, and which is what I tell black folks, it's not so much that I want all black people to be Republicans like we are Democrats. No, that's not what I want. I want us to be unpredictable. I want us to be to the point where they're scrambling, trying to do for us. They don't know where we're going to lie. The whole point of all this division and all these, wedge issues is to, okay, if we can get all the gays on this, then we know where the gays going to vote here. We get all the blacks here, we're going to vote here. Because when you're running a campaign and they're spending all this money and ad buys and whatever, they think about blocks. They're not thinking about individuals. Like, okay, if we get this block with this, we'll get this block with that. We'll get this block with that. And if we can, and Democrats are really good with this, because if they can get you by your block, get you by your insecurity, get you by your, we're going to give you gay rights, black rights, women rights, whatever, then we can do all this other fuck shit, wars, Palestine, all that bullshit. But because we have you by this one little identity thing, we can kind of keep you in our back pocket no matter what. And that's what going back to the Jake Lang thing, which is why this sort of thing pisses me off, because Democrats can just use that to say, see, the Trump, he's racist, so you got to stick with us. Even though, I just look at what
nobody cares about racism. Nobody cares about racism but poor people, Benji. Rich people don't give a fuck about racism. I could give a fuck about. I'll be your favorite nigger all day long.
Thing is,
I do not give a damn.
I don't give a fuck as much about racism either, because I'm in a much better place in my life. But most of the people are poor, unfortunately. You know what I mean?
Okay, most people are. But this is the thing. This is the thing. And so there is the great divide, and the divide keeps dividing. Okay, so you just have to understand that this is where we are. This is a point of it's a fact of life. And you still, I want to love black people. Actually, I want to love white people. And I will tell you this much. I'm looking for white people who don't turn into that thing that I've always been taught about my entire life. I'm going to give a scenario. Actually, it's a factual story. I was doing business with some very affluent white people. They will tell you, oh my God, our bond is spiritual and you're amazing. Every fucking day you hear the same, you're great. Oh my God, how did you do that? You get down to a point where things don't go their way and they flip into something else. And it really, that situation when, oh, we should pray together. Oh, we're spiritually connected. That turn, when you see that in people, like I've never had any other race of people do me like that. Not the fact that I can't beat them, I'm stepping on them because I was on the side of right. You can give everything to people and do more, go above and beyond consistently over and over and over again. And then at that point, they flip into something else and you realize, damn, that's the shit I've always been taught my entire life. It's just I happen to be a position. I play blood sport. I'm playing to win. I'm not, you're never gonna beat me, especially when I was consistently 100% on the side of right. But I'm looking for white people who are not those white people. Because I went to white schools, I lived in white neighborhoods. I just happen to be fortunate. But what I will say, don't be that white person, those white people that I have my whole grandma, my grandpa, everybody taught me about, because that's what it's turning into. I want to trust, like I'll put the trust out there first. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt first. I'm that person because I'm about the money. I'm trying to get to it with any and everybody. Okay, so I'm gonna
wouldn't just to play devil's advocate, I mean, wouldn't untrustworthiness go both ways? I mean, I'm sure there are probably white people say that same thing about, black people.
I'm
black
just
person. Because it's different.
I mean,
so many of us
it's
tend to
different.
we also tend to get, tribal a lot of times. And for me, I look at it as though I look at people as individuals. I try my best not to just assign. Now, if you fuck me over, then you fuck me over. But I'm not going to say every white person did that.
It was individual, but then they collectively changed into something else. So when I'm dealing in this situation, I'm dealing with this person, I'm dealing with this person, I'm dealing with this, but they're all a collective. But then when they know you can beat them, they turn into something different. And it shouldn't have had to get to the point where I have to beat you, because I was giving you everything you needed plus some. You didn't even know how I could do it. There's insecurities that come into play when you realize sometimes people want to be you and they can never be you. And it turns into something that they end up exposing themselves. And it's like, damn, after everything, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of you collectively get together after you want to pray with me and you, oh my God, you're just so spiritual, Trevian. Oh my God, how do you do this? And it's like, damn. And I've been in spaces where black people have fucked me over, but it ain't that type of bullshit.
Honestly, I've had just me being from the hood my entire life.
I never had that.
Niggas done fucked me over way more than any white people ever could dream of. I'm sorry. That's just being real. I'm sorry. Like
maybe I'm around more white
I'm
people.
not in different enough circles, but niggas have robbed me, niggas have scammed me, and that's not to say that all white people are bad.
I've been kidnapped at gunpoint by black people, but at least it wasn't to play in your face. You know,
right? It's just that it's my sample size. Is mostly of black people. That's why when people tell me like you sold out and you're with the white people, I'm just like, who are these white people? Like I would say in my regular everyday life, in Philadelphia here, I don't really. I mean, now I do. I've moved up in different neighborhoods, so now there's more white people in my neighborhood.
That's why I said I'm looking for white people that ain't gonna switch up.
Hood, West Philly, and just my whole life, East New York, Brooklyn, I hardly even encounter white people. It was like if I maybe at work, maybe a teacher.
I do a lot of business, so that it's just a natural thing.
Let's see. We have a comment here. Let's read it.
I'm looking for white people who won't switch up. Where are y'all at? The white people that don't switch up. I'm looking for y'all.
Eagles Ghost Buffalo says black agenda, BLM, etc. were all words gushed out of the public domain to start the separation of caste. Yeah, gays, etc. in the Obama Biden era. I have so many friends in these communities 30, 40 years ago. Now I only can count a couple of hands. Color never mattered to me at all. Now we're all stereotyping the compartments. That's true, because I must say
that's true.
In the 90s, growing up with, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Family Matters, all that, these were not seen as like, these are not shows that white people can watch, or these are a black show. Even me watching, Friends and Roseanne and whatever, a lot of that I think is also the monoculture, because we kind of were all forced to watch all this. There's only 5 channels, so we all had to watch it. We had to make our way of it. But I do think that, I do think a lot of it did come with a mom. A lot of this race consciousness, because it's almost like going back like a story like Adam and Eve, like in the Bible. It's like when Adam and Eve were found and they did the whole thing with the apple and whatever, and they covered up, and then God was like, who told you were naked? I say it like all the time. Who told you were oppressed? Who told you were something different? So a lot of this stuff is inculcated, and it is brought down with like tradition, and you know, even with like Juneteenth. I'm not a fan of Juneteenth. I just think that it's like
money on Juneteenth.
It's made up in ghetto. Not that it's made up, because I know it's a real thing in Texas, but I feel like for Joe Biden, and I have a video of this, you guys can check on my social media, Binge Derby, whatever, where I had a clip of this on another podcast. I was saying that Juneteenth to me just showed how racist Joe Biden really was, because of all things that can be celebrated, Harriet Tubman's birthday, inventors, whatever it is, y'all going to take the last bit of black people that were enslaved, that didn't know they weren't enslaved, and we make this a whole thing. And now it's like we can take that and inculcate that into young people, into younger generation of black people, and create a divide, because who the fuck knew that? If we have a baby born right now, baby don't know none of that shit. But now there's Juneteenth,
you know what, Benji,
we got to keep
you know what the fact
further.
is? The older you get, the more racist you become. And that's all it is. The younger you are, you don't care what people are. You just trying to live and have a good time.
I'm actually opposite. I'm less racist. I've got over.
Yeah, I think the older you get, the more racist you become.
As a young person than I am now, because I was woke and I was inculcating the wokeness. I'm way less racist than I am now. Because I honestly, when I was a wokey, I was racist. Like I talk about like. And I feel so dumb saying this.
I couldn't be racist. I was around white people all the time.
I should not give money to white homeless people, because it was like, oh, you're white. This is your country. Why you? I'm so ashamed. I'm about to say I'm so ashamed.
Wow.
I said out of my own mouth. I said because that white man go get a job, he about to get a job before I can, homeless and all. It's like what? You know what I mean? What would make it? But it's the inculcation. I have one even better for you. Years ago, I was an Uber driver in New York, and I was on the Upper East Side, and obviously a more white area, you know, Manhattan or whatever, and it was raining real bad. The thing is, anybody who does Uber knows this, that a lot of times when it's raining, like the satellites get real fucked up with Uber or whatever, it doesn't work as well. But like the GPS in general, a lot of that stuff doesn't work as well when it's like raining really, really bad. And like back in those days, I don't know if they do this now, but like where you would get an Uber, it would show like the person's picture, like the passenger's picture or whatever, And I had like 3 different people. It was like a white person, and it would show my picture too. I had my picture, that picture, whatever. And like the ride would just cancel. And like I had 3 different rides cancel from like different white people. And I was just like, are they canceling me because I'm black? And I had to like stop myself and be like, what made you think that? You know, like, where did that thought? Like, what the fuck? Like, obviously, there are glitches, it's raining, all this shit. But what in my mind would make me go to that's the first thing I think of? Oh, they must be canceling. They see that I'm black. This is New York City. This is not like, you know, Tuscaloosa somewhere. You know what I mean? And I started laughing because, mind you, that was 2017. After I voted for Trump, I was already on the MAGA side, and I had to stop myself and be like, whoa. What the fuck would make you think something like that? But it's inculcated from when we were children as black people that the whites are here and you're there. That's why I can't do white supremacy, because it's like, I'm not going to tell myself that white people don't love me.
There's no such thing. But
it's inculcated. I give an example of, remember that movie 12 Years a Slave with Lupita back in the day, that Lupita movie, whatever. And I remember my mother, who God rest her soul, died a few years ago, but she was raised up in South Carolina or whatever, and her and my father dealt with like the real Jim Crow, like the real shit. You know what I mean? And she told me a story about how when she was 5 years old, it was like an ice cream place, the white people let her eat there, whole thing, whatever. And I was asking my mother, she was ironing clothes. I was like, you know, are you gonna go see that movie, the 12 Years a Slave? And she was like, why would I go see that mess? For what? So I could be mad at white folks for a week? And in that moment, I was just like, she's absolutely right. Like every generation, there's going to be a Roots. There's going to be a 12 Years a Slave. There's going to be a Django. It's going to be a Juneteenth. They have to keep this slavery narrative thing. It's like, what if you didn't think you were less than white people? What if you didn't think you were bound race? Like, what if? Like, if you said your average black person, like they think you're crazy. What if I'm just not like beneath white people?
You know, this is the thing. This is the thing, and I think this is a very good biological implicator or indicator that white people are not superior, because the sun is not favorable to white people. The sun kills white people. There's no way you can be superior when the very thing that gives everything breathing and everything alive life, it kills you.
I got one even better.
You can't be superior.
White people
biological fact, you can't be.
Because let's look at the 2020 election. Trump lost. I mean, yes, they're cheating, whatever. But Trump basically lost because he was looked at as the George Floyd racist. So if this was, white supremacy was the thing, Trump would say, fuck these niggers, and he would get all the votes, right? If that were a thing.
No, Trump didn't lose because of George Floyd. Trump lost because he got cheated. The same way Trump cheated Thomas Massie. Trump cheated Thomas Massie.
Trump got cheated, but nobody cared because he was a racist.
Right.
No one cares what the racist complaining. They cheated me.
No. Everybody.
That was the point. That was the point.
Everybody
they had to make him look like a racist. And it was funny you say that, because that's what I told Brad Parscale. So I had a meeting with Brad Parscale. I had 2 meetings with Laura Trump, and I had a meeting with Pascal 2020. And I had a meeting with Pascal in Trump Tower. This was it was February 2020, because it was the same day as the Black History thing, and they invited me to that, and I couldn't go because I had this meeting with Brad Parscale. Spoiler, should have went to the Black History thing, because the Brad Parscale meeting was a waste of my fucking time. Anyway, went to Brad Parscale. So I said, look, I'm on the Trump train. This is all great. You know what I mean? But I'm a Black person on there. But your average Black person still sees Trump as a racist. So whatever you guys have been doing for the past 3 years, it's not working. I don't know what Black Voice Trump is doing, but I feel like a lot of times, this is no disparaging anybody who's in Black Voice Trump, whatever, because I knew a lot of those people, and those people are great. But I think a lot of times Black conservatives, we have this whole thing, we get in these circle jerks, and we all talk about how great we all are, and you're Black and conservative, great, but you're not bringing anybody new in. My parents were pastors, they were evangelists. I'm a believer in evangelism. You're not saving souls. You're not bringing nobody Black in. It's not growing. And that's basically what I was telling Brad Parscale. He was like, well, I'm not really concerned about the Black vote, because we have, and he basically broke down, he had said, just February, he said, if Trump were to run today, we would win, and we have this many electoral votes, and I'm really concerned about Black people in certain metropolitan areas. I believe it was like Miami, Philadelphia. It was like 5 different areas he gave, whatever. And I said, what you don't understand is that it's not just about the Black people and the Black vote, etc. It's not just about that. It's about Black people and the people who love them. And so it's really more so about your suburban white mom who's at Lululemon doesn't want to be seen as a racist. If Trump is seen as a racist to the Blacks, yeah, he may not get any extra Black votes, but that lady who's in that squishy kind of district in the suburbs be like, oh, I don't know if that's racist, or all the girls in my Lululemon said Trump's a racist. Like, I was trying to get Brad Parscale to see the bigger picture. It's bigger than just the Black votes in the ghetto. Yes, Trump probably will not win the ghetto district in Atlanta or whatever. Probably not. He probably won't win, district in Manhattan. He probably won't. But there's reverberations outside of that, whereas if you're seen as a racist, then there's a lot of white people and other people that will not vote for you for that reason, which is why 2020 didn't really surprise me, because I warned them about this. They didn't want to effing listen. And Brad Parscale, I mean, we know what he's doing now. He's a total, I'm sure you're probably into what he's doing now with Salem and all other stuff, and who he's getting paid by your friends. I say that sarcastically, your friends.
My friends.
I say that sarcastically, obviously not your friends. But so I'm not surprised to see what he's doing now, whatever, but it's like he was such a jerk, and like he just didn't want to listen. And again, that's why I say white supremacy can't be a thing, because if racists can be used as something to get people not to win elections, then clearly white supremacy ain't all it's cracked up to be. But anyway, let's move on to our next subject, because we've been here for a while, but
okay,
I'm let everybody get in.
I got a cold stop at like 2 minutes to the hour.
2 minutes to 4?
Yes.
Oh Lord. Oh, we didn't even talk about anything. Lord. Okay. So
but only because I have a call. So if you keep going, I can come back in. But I've got a call.
Yeah, we'll talk about this. So what I'll do is then if you only have another 10 minutes with me, then we'll let you decide. We talk about, do you want to do Scott Weiner, Thomas Massie, the Supreme Court decision about these about the mail-in votes, not being a thing or still being a thing.
I think that's bullshit. I just
obviously.
really, everybody knows when election day is. You got plenty of time to get your shit in. That's bullshit.
Or Jussie. So I'll let you decide which
Thomas Massie.
Thomas Massie. Here we go. So we're gonna show Thomas Massie here. Hold on, let me make sure this is off the stage. So Thomas Massie, he confronted a Fox News reporter the other day, and it's just so funny because now TMZ has a Washington bureau, so they're doing like all these. This was Fox, but they're now all the reporters doing like these really really combative kind of. We're gonna stop you on the street, and we're trying to go viral. Well, basically everybody's trying to go viral now. So this guy stopped Thomas Massie, and again, it's never fun when the rabbit gets the gun, and we'll see how Thomas Massie kind of turned that around on him. So it's 2 videos. Let's take a look at these.
Up the stuff your ex is saying about you with the NDA, that you pressured her to sign an NDA for wrongful termination. What is that true? What's she saying about you?
Who are you with?
With Fox Digital.
It's all false.
And what she said about you and Bobert having an intimate relationship.
It's all false.
Why do you think she's out there saying it? Was it because of the primary, ahead of the primary? What do you think is motivating it?
When did you all become a tabloid? Seriously, dude.
Well, no, I just.
I will say this: all these questions about like who you slept with, whatever. We voted for Trump. Like no one cares. I don't know why we trying to make this a thing. Like we literally voted for Trump, who cheated on every wife he's ever had, and we love him. So I don't understand the problem. Anyway,
I will give you a chance to respond
cares.
because you've never been able to tell your side of the story. That's all. But anything you could say.
So let me ask you. I heard that you like gay porn. Is that true?
I just want to give you a chance. Your side of it. I'm not going to get into that.
Are you a real news
I'm not going to get into that.
And you notice Fox deceptively edited that. You see, they edited a part out. We're going to give you that part they edited in a second.
Come back, man.
No.
You don't like
Congressman,
I'm not. Websites.
Of course I don't. Right. Of course I don't like it.
Really?
But thank you.
That's not what I heard.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah, that was my question.
Just giving you a chance to respond. That's all.
No. You're with Fox.
But thank you.
So there's that. So the part that let's show the part they edited, because we saw Thomas Massie got his phone. So this is what Thomas Massie put on his social media.
You could say.
So let me ask you. I heard that you like gay porn. Is that true?
Congressman, I'm not. I just want to give you a chance. Your
I'm
side.
Giving you a chance to give me your side.
I'm not going to get into
Are
that.
you a real news organization or not?
No,
come back, man. All you got to say is you don't like it. That you haven't been to those websites.
Of course I don't. Of course I don't like it.
Really?
But thank you.
That's not what I heard.
Thank you for your time. Yeah, that was my question. Just giving you a chance to respond. That's all.
No. And you're with Fox?
But thank you.
Is that a real news organization?
No.
Is this what you do for a living, man?
Freaking hilarious. So
but let me you gotta shout out, because Thomas Massie didn't know any of that. Whoever was on his team sent him that message, because you can see the switch in Thomas Massie when he looks down at his phone. He gets the information in real time. You gotta shout out whoever Thomas Massie's people are, because they got him that information within seconds and allowed Thomas Massie to flip that script. That was great. If you go back, you'll catch the point where you can see he gets that, he gets the text and he's like, oh, wait a minute. And he was able to flip this. Yeah, shout out to his people.
I just thought it's just no fun when a rabbit gets the gun. I mean, this is the type of thing, where it's like, it reminds me of like in these congressional, hearings or whatever, when you have like people on Trump's team or whatever, they'll, hit back at the Democrats or whatever. But I mean, I thought this is really good. I mean, look, sir, if you're gay, just say so. Like, I the fact that he walked away, he let it affect him. Like, it would be, he could have just said, back onto whatever. But the way that he walked, I guess he wasn't ready for it. And then the thing, when you're a public figure, and even reporters, you're public figures, like, don't think you can just terrorize people. You can just say whatever you want to say, and don't think that it's not going to come back. It came back, and this guy clearly was not ready. Like, it's no fun when the rabbit gets the gun, and the guy's like, "Oh, well, I don't know," and like now Thomas Massie's run after you. So like, it's like the whole thing just switched. Like, why would you walk away from that? And now this guy is known as like, because again, okay, if he's gay, so what? I mean, we got all these people. You got people that are huge and gay. You got Scott Presler, and you got, what's his name in the administration is gay, the financial guy. What's his name? You know what I mean? So that's not like a huge deal, but I think he just wasn't ready for Massie to kind of hit back at him.
He hit him too.
There's the thing: if you're going to do that type of journalism, and you're going to be, up on people, and you're going to be, you got to be ready for them to look at your life too. You know what I mean?
And well deserved.
They're gonna look
that
at
was well deserved.
It was very well done, and it just shows this is where we are in Washington. So don't think that the days of the elder statesmen and trying to be, those days are done. We got the internet out
one
here.
One of the very few people that could get my vote would be Thomas Massie. Also, and I'm hoping that he is seriously running. I have every intention on. I would donate money. I will work the campaign for Dan Blazarian. Dan Blazarian. And that's who I'm voting for. That's who I'll get behind. That's who I'll help on the campaign trail. Yeah. I'll put my own money up behind it. Dan Blazarian.
Now, do you
That's
think
who
that
I'm for.
Dan Bilzerian actually has a chance though, for real?
You know
Like
what?
actual chance to win?
At the turning point of where we are in society, absolutely. The world has awakened to the burdens of the earth, your friends, and I think I think it's time that we start cleaning this place up. However, it needs to happen.
Newsmax said they weren't my friends, but anyway.
Uh,
Inside joke. Inside joke. Da, 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 da. You gotta go back and you gotta go to an earlier me and Chevy
right,
conversation for that to
right,
get that. But you gotta go back a few months in the socials. Go back to my Instagram a few months, see the last time
yeah.
we talked, and you'll get into what that's all about. But I look, it's not fun when the rabbit gets the gun. We're in a place where people are going to start fighting back. I mean, Trump does it. I mean, Trump is the best example of this. He's probably the first person I've ever seen that really, really fights back and goes hard at these people. But
His clapbacks got stale though. His clapbacks are crazy now. Like he used to have the best clapbacks,
well,
like
I
blah
think his
blah
clapbacks have
blah.
gotten stale because he's also somewhat, has been
Stale,
corrupted, and he's been
stale.
corrupted. So, on some level, you know what I mean? He's not quite. And
I
whether
think
you,
America feels betrayed, and that's just the bottom line. He has no support. You know, the support he has. He has the Southern Christian Baptists,
I
and
mean,
that's
look,
about it. The
I support
Zionists.
Trump in the way
I
that
used to.
I support Trump in the way that in the how the Bible says, how Paul said, "Follow me as I follow Christ." So, like, I support you as long as you're doing the right thing. Whatever with the right things he does, I support. But unconditional support, just because you're Trump, to be excited enough to say, "I'm going to go down to the fourth, because Trump's going to rally, and we're going to all no." That unfortunately for me is done. I don't hate the man. Obviously, I don't regret my vote. I mean, him over Kamala. I mean, yeah. I mean, tomorrow,
Right,
yes,
right,
absolutely. But
right.
the type of but that's what I'm saying is missing. That fervor, that vigor, that genuine 2016, 2017, 2018 excitement that we had. I don't have that. I even find myself not even like watching as much as like Trump
That's what
stuff
I
anymore.
told you. I will watch Candace before I watch
I
Trump.
used to like anytime Trump had like a press
You know what? That's
conference
gonna be the clip. I'm putting that clip on my social media. I will watch Candace before I watch Trump.
I mean, but many people would nowadays. I mean,
I
let's
know,
just
you
be
know what I'm
honest.
saying,
You
and
know what I mean?
and this is the thing. And whether anybody wants to realize it or not, I don't know if you all have been fun. I'm the biggest Kanye fan. In my book, he can almost do no wrong. However, just looking at the growth and the progress and the speed globally, no one man should have all that power. Trump is not the leader of the free world.
Oh no,
The,
we're
the free
multipolar now.
the free world is the youth. Kanye West is the leader of the youth. There's no Jay-Z, there's no other phenomenon. There is no other cultural icon. And for him to be able to show the world, I can still move the people at will, and they will come to me, and I can sell out SoFi back to back. I can sell out Tampa at Raymond James back to back, and I'm going to sell out Soldier Field back to back. You don't want to let me perform in London? Okay, I'll go perform in Albania. I'll go perform in Georgia, the country, not the state. So
Yeah.
it's like, look, nobody can stop him anymore. And that is the movement of the free world. And that's why I say Dan Blazerian has the ultimate opportunity, because the world is tired of the gutter snatch that has been invading
But
our politics
but this
and
is but I
invading,
look at
raping and
I see
pilfering our
that,
children.
but
We're done with them.
I see that, but I also see, like, even looking at Massie's loss, I'm sure there are some shady things there, but the young people really weren't as activated as they were supposed to be for Massie. Like, when you look at the
Because
polling,
he's in
they were all the old
Louisiana
people, but the young
or
people are not.
Kentucky.
It's like the
He,
young people, but there's still young people in Kentucky. You know what I mean? And they were not activated for him the way that they should have been. I think that unfortunately, because so many young men, especially, were activated for Trump, a lot of times he would just kind of feel like, that they've, how young people are. Today, unfortunately, they don't really have like the attention span that we used to have back in the day, or just in general. You know what I mean? They don't really have much of an attention span nowadays. So it's like, if they get crushed or they get hurt one time but it doesn't go their way one time, they're like, just
have
fuck the whole
y'all
thing.
met my child? This is my daughter Liberty.
Hey Liberty, how are you doing?
Good, how are
Great
y'all?
name.
Thank you.
Where's your other daughter? Justice for All.
No, my son's name is King, King. So there's King and
Okay.
Liberty. Yes.
King and Liberty. But yeah,
Yes.
I just, unfortunately, with the young people, they're not. I think they get burned one time and they kind of feel like F the whole thing. But it's like voting in things. It's a lifetime of that we have to do this. It's not that we just do one time and just like we forget and it's over, unfortunately. But I feel like with Dan Bilzerian, he has a lot of the young people, a lot of the youth vote. But is it really going to matter? Maybe we can take also in Florida, James Fishback. James Fishback, he went on the Fresh and Fit show. I mean, you don't get more in tune with the youth than that. It's a little strange to me, a little strange. But I mean, pretty much, Byron Donalds kind of got that in Florida. I mean, it's pretty obvious. But he's not even going to give him a debate because, I mean, Trump didn't give Haley or DeSantis a debate either. So, I mean, we already know how that's going to go pretty much. But it's like the young people, they'll talk a good game. But when it gets down to actually getting out and voting, and now with this Supreme Court thing where we have all these ballots, which we're going to talk about all the ballots and whatever, and then go 3 and 4 and 8 and 5 and whatever days. Even with that, we don't have young people getting out there on the day of and kind of combating that. You know what I mean? Like, what do we do to really turn out the youth? Now, the left youth are turning out, but on the right side, our youth are just not. They're not turning out.
I feel like we should stop focusing on the larger political offices. And I think if we really start taking over city council and your state general assemblies, that is way more powerful. You look at the Mamdani movement, okay? Yeah. Look at how that whole move, that's not about power structures or this, that, and the other. That was really people saying, look, fuck all of you motherfuckers. We don't want any more of you motherfuckers. So we're gonna put this man in who can and I have to watch Mamdani. Not that I agree with a lot of his policies, but I can respect the campaign. I can respect the movement. And so let's watch and see if he becomes an Obama. Because they always become a useful tool. It just depends on the matter of time that goes by before
Mamdani may stay. He may stay revolutionary because he's crippled by the fact that he wasn't born here. So he can never be president. There's only but so high he can go. You know what I mean? So he may not necessarily sell out per se to whatever to be like an establishment Democrat because he only go but so far. Now that AOC, now that one, okay, she gonna sell out. You know what I mean? She's gonna be Hillary Clinton.
She's been sold. She was sold before she got there.
She's gonna be Latina Hillary Clinton. That's what she's gonna be. Puerto Rican Hillary.
No, she's not even gonna make it. She's not gonna make it. She's not smart enough. She didn't go to law school. She's a bartender. Like you can't say I'm like Kamala and I graduated from here and I did this and I was governor and I was all. She can't say she doesn't have that. So AOC will never be a presidential candidate. She'll never be Candace can be her. You know what I'm saying? Candace can be AOC.
I don't like about us too, what we do on the right side is that because, and a lot of people do this, and I have arguments with people on the right about this all the time. Like they look at, see, the left, they're getting to be so socialist and see because they're splitting.
You don't hear me say left and right. You have never heard. I don't use that.
Yeah, they think, but a lot of people on our side, they think that them being so radical is an advantage for us. But really, the reason why that radicalism is even becoming more and more of a thing is it's really more so a response to what Trump is doing. It's a response to the fact that, prices are going up and we're concerned about a stupid war, in Israel or in Ukraine or whatever. So it's like a lot of young people are seeing that, Trump started out, being this revolutionary guy. He was going to be something different. And now it's just more of the same. And it's giving them more steam. And they feel like, that can never make it. Now, granted, will a socialist ever become president like in 2028? No, but it could be 36, 40. These things take time. You know what I mean? Like, nothing, Rome wasn't built in a day. So it's like the seeds are starting. And if you get the socialists, if they're winning in LA, they're winning in New York, they're winning in Minneapolis, eventually these things will start, enough electoral votes start to come together. I mean, New York runs the whole state. New York City runs the whole state. So once you get New York City, you get the state. Because now, let's say Mamdani eventually takes Kathy Hochul or the rest of the establishment Democrats out. Then boom, they got a state. They got how many electoral votes? That's like what, 40, 50 electoral votes. Then California, that's the easy one for them to get. That's another. So it's like, it's not hard for them to do if they're getting these major population centers. And it will not happen tomorrow, but you definitely could have one of them in a seat, you know what I mean, in a presidency, or at least as the candidate for the Democrat Party, another 20, 30 years. And I think that Republicans, we rest on our laurels on like, well, they're so crazy, they're so wild, this, whatever. But Mondami, again, a liar, free buses, never happened, whatever. But at least he's acknowledging that there's a affordability problem. You got Hank Savage Trump, Iran can have a nuclear weapon. I don't give a fuck. I can say it to me. I don't give a fuck whether Iran has a nuclear weapon or not. I care about my shit being affordable and gas prices.
If they don't already. So that's
every other country got one, and that's not me riding for Iran. It's just common sense. Like, who are we? And I'll get mad at me for saying this, but who are we to tell them they can't have one?
That's exactly it.
And the thing, and if we say they can't, then what are we replacing that with? We should be replacing that with diplomacy. Like the fact that, because my argument, I have a lot of people.
There's no such thing as diplomacy
with Trump or whatever, and they'll say like, "Oh, we can't let Iran have a nuclear weapon." But we can't do that by force. The whole point that we elected Trump and not Bush and not Rubio is that any idiot can drop bombs on people. Trump supposed to be going there and make a deal. He'll be a deal maker to say, look, Iran, join the League of Nations, join the rest of us out here making money, and that's automatically supposed to create the peace.
Nobody cares anymore.
That's nothing special. We could have Bush for that. Any idiot can do that. And we expected more from Trump. That's why it's all so disappointing, because it's like, dude, like, you're supposed to be so much better than this. Like,
he has no support. It's all a lie. It's a facade. That support has dwindled down to probably 25%. I mean, we were all riders for Trump. You know what I'm saying? And to dismiss him in his entirety at this point, that says it says a whole lot about what he has done and what he hasn't done. And so, you know me, you couldn't tell me shit about Trump. Like, I would tell you you couldn't tell me nothing. But at this point, like I said, I watched Candace before I watched Trump. So, and there's one more thing that Trump said, and I think that everybody has totally dismissed this point. If we remember, Trump said that the 2024 election was this country's last election. There just aren't going to be any more elections at the presidential candidate perspective level. There's not. That's why we have to fight down on the local levels, because they were just like President Trump cheated. They couldn't beat Thomas Massie, so they had to cheat him. And that has to do with our current president. He knew Thomas Massie was going to win, and Thomas Massie actually won. Trump knows a little bit about getting cheated. There are bad people on both sides, a Democrat and Republican, and they all cheat. And Thomas Massie was cheated, and that was the nail in the coffin for any respect that I had remaining for President Trump. He cheated Thomas Massie. So that's how I feel about it.
It's sad, I guess, because he felt like Thomas Massie wasn't going to be a reliable vote on the the big. He didn't vote for the big.
Isn't that what this country is supposed to be about? Isn't that what America is supposed to be about?
Exactly. And the same way he wasn't reliable, I feel like us as Black people shouldn't be reliable to the Democrats either. You have to win every vote, win every election. You can't just be about you just putting everybody in boxes and things of that nature. I honestly thought Thomas Massie was going to win that. I didn't pay much attention to it. But I didn't think that they was going to go out the way it did. But a lot of it in the exit polling is a lot of the young people. I just thought the young people going to go is going to be too. But the thing is that, look, there's always going to be some type of rigging. So if we win, if the right side wins, it has to be too big to rig. That's just what it has to be at this point. But it's always going to be some type of rigging, especially now with this whole thing with the ballots. Now we can do this ballot bullshit. There will be rigging forevermore. And if the right person, the right side wins, it always has to be, you have to be bigger than the rigging, which is what happened with Trump at 24. He was bigger than it was just too big. They couldn't stop it. You know what I mean? It would have to be a situation like that, unfortunately, for anybody. For the
and 2020 was like that too. I mean, we went to bed, it was a landslide. And then somebody had the power to shut down the voting at 3 a.m.
But Trump's complaints on that were not heard. Why? Because Trump was a racist. And that's what I said. That racial thing, that racial narrative.
You still say racism. I don't believe that. I truly believe that.
Because Trump had valid complaints, but no one would hear them. And the reason why no one would hear them is because he's a white supremacist. And then January 6th, that psyop on top of all those things.
You're forgetting.
Nobody want to hear what he had to say.
You're forgetting the COVID psyop. COVID was put in play till that mail-in ballots could be a thing. Okay, so it wasn't about racism. It wasn't about racism.
You know the saying. The saying is that everything that happens in election year is all about the election. I remember in 2020, the beginning, when COVID first started, whatever. What's funny about COVID, I worked through COVID. I didn't do the mask thing. I didn't give a fuck. Like, the COVID, I never was shut down. Like, I don't even have that. To me, I was on lockdown. I never locked down. The way I work, I never was shut down. So I was always working, whatever. But I remember watching TV, and I remember watching Nancy Pelosi say something about like mail-in balloting. And this was like January of 2020. I said, oh, that's what this shit is for. This bitch is trying to do something with these mail-in ballots. You know that election is in November. That's what this shit is for. So all that, a perfect storm, all that mixed together. But again, if Trump were not seen as a racist, if his approval rating were higher, his complaints would have been heard a lot better. He would have had more of an ear for the complaints. But it's like, he's a racist anyway, let's get rid of him. He's a racist. Blah, blah. We're going to move on to Joe. So that's what I was trying to tell Brad Parscale. Because remember, I told Brad Parscale this in February before George Floyd even happened. And I said, look, I wrote them an email, Laura Trump. I said, look, they're going to be planting different racial psyops to happen to put Trump away from the black community. You need to be ready for these because they're coming. I had no idea, of course, about George Floyd. I was talking about like other things that were happening, whatever. But the George Floyd thing just blew up and just, because mind you, Trump did very well with George Floyd. He never said anything bad about him. He said, even with Ahmaud Arbery, he said, it's a shame what happened to him. He looks like a nice young man. Like Trump did all the right, I must say, Trump did the right things PR-wise with that. It just wasn't enough. It just wasn't enough. They didn't have the ground game already on the ground with relating to black. Because one of the suggestions I had for them, which is it's funny because Laura Trump did not take my suggestion when I gave it to her, but I see she did it in 24 and they actually won. I told Laura Trump in the office in Trump Tower, I said, look, you need to go on Breakfast Club. You need to go in there. I'll go with you. I don't care. You know what I mean? I ain't scared of Charlamagne, whatever. And she was like, I don't know. And it just seems so scary. I just don't. Because their whole thing was, the first time was like, we don't want to, cause too much a ruckus. We don't want to like rock the boat. We want to kind of just slide by. And I was trying to tell her that's not going to work because these people are crafting narratives. You have people going on the Breakfast Club with the show, especially at that time, all black people watching. They're talking shit about you and you're not responding to it. So it's like if people come on there and say that Trump is a racist and Trump don't say I'm not, then who am I to believe? I'm not going to go looking on Fox News and find out where you are. My whole thing was like, you got to go to where the black folks are. Stop talking to the same 8 black for Trump people drinking each other off in the corner, and we're not getting out there to where actual black people are. That was my argument. I was screaming at the mountaintop to them to listen to me. Why are you not understanding? But I found that 2020, I seen Laura Trump ass on a breakfast. I said, oh, now you want to listen to me. Now now you want to listen to me. Because I begged her to go on that show in 2019. I was like, you have to do this show. No, I don't know. And I just don't want, because the thing is they just didn't want to say or do the wrong thing because then it could be a whole thing. But it's like, people want, I said, someone with the name Trump needs to be able to show that someone with the name Trump cared enough to go where the black people are to speak to the black people. You know
what we haven't done? I would like to thank all 737 of you all for joining us today.
762.
762 of you. Shout out to all of you for sticking around and coming through and pulling up because, I'm very fucking opinionated. So...
And by the way, you guys, like I said, Laverne, she dropped in for a second. She's not here with us today. She will be back we are now back every Tuesday at 2. So I'm going to start back inviting all our old friends. You see, Karen Kennedy, expect a DM from me, Karen. People like that.
I got a list of contacts now. We're about to have a hot
seat. Now, so you guys remember, Tuesdays at 2. Touch a neighbor and say Tuesday
1 p.m. Central.
1 p.m. Central. Tuesdays at 2 Eastern. Me and Laverne are Eastern. You Central. Me and Laverne are Eastern. And we'll do this every Tuesday. We may even do it another day on, but we're going to be on. I told Laverne, now that I'm producing the show, I will be here making my commitment to be here every week, Tuesday at 2. So touch your neighbors at Tuesday at 2. We'll be here next Tuesday at 2. It'll be either me, Laverne, Trevi, a mixture of us, somebody, but somebody going to be here. Me and somebody. Every Tuesday,
we'll be here
at 2. So we
I may be commenting from Africa because I'm working in Africa now, but I'll be there.
Yes, every Tuesday at 2 we will be back. So I know, things happen, and we obviously Laverne had, lost her husband, whatever, and we are praying for her. She's doing well or whatever. Me and Laverne, me and Laverne have the same
Laverne is
birthday.
doing phenomenal. Okay.
She's doing
Laverne
great.
is living her best life.
And me and Laverne have the same birthday, basically. Laverne's birthday is July 27th. I'm July 28th. So I should actually be in Miami. So I got to figure out a way for me and Laverne to like do the show together, because we'll actually both be in Miami, and we'll do a show on my birthday on the 28th. That's a Tuesday. And we'll find a way to do it together. But every week we're going to be here, bring you the subject, the topics, bring your comments, bring your opinions, all that stuff. So the Hood Conservative is back. So tell your friends, tell your family. I'm sure I'll make more graphics and things of that nature. I'm just like super duper busy because I'm actually not a grifter. I literally work every day like everybody else does. I'm not like a grifter. I'm not like Jake Lang going out here taping myself with things, trying to get, TikTok money and whatever. I'm like a real actual person like the rest of you all. So we'll get to that. I have my podcast, of course, Binge. I come on when I come on. I'm trying to make myself do a Wednesday thing. Maybe I will do something though tomorrow at 2. So if you guys come back tomorrow at 2, on all my social things, Binge Derby on all my things or whatever, follow me. And this is like streaming on my Twitch and on Laverne's X and on all the different things. So, definitely want to, come back and whatever for all those things. So, I know Trevor, you're about to leave.
I'm just waiting for the phone. I'm waiting for the phone to ring. So once the phone rings,
okay, let's do something else. Okay, so let's talk about speaking of your friends. Let's talk about one of your friends, Anthony Weiner. Now, what's funny about not Anthony Weiner? I'm sorry, Scott Weiner. Oh, she's got up just like that. Okay, Scott Weiner. All right, so if you can come on back. We'll get into Scott Weiner and we'll come back. All right.
Hello.
All right, so Trevi's out. Okay, so Scott Weiner. So, a lot of times as conservatives, we find ourselves in a way we have to defend President Trump, and they're like, oh, Trump is a pedo. You're a pedo protector. The real pedo protector, which I always tell people, the real PDF protector is this guy here, Scott Weiner. Scott Weiner is a representative, a California, I believe, in the California Senate right now. He's going for Nancy Pelosi's old seat, although she has not endorsed him. She actually endorsed his opponent, thank God. This guy is like nuts. He's for, you can contract HIV, give it to somebody. That's no longer illegal now under this guy. Like, he is, what's that? Laverne. Oh, someone had a comment about Laverne. Laverne, you are like a magical unicorn who says it like it is. I raise my cup to you. Thank you, Digital Delilah. But yeah, this guy, Thomas Weiner, is a real creep. He was for, trying to move the age down of like consent and things of that nature. Very pedoistic, very much a weirdo. He is probably the most left-leaning politician in the United States today, but he's not left enough for the left, because he was actually accosted in a restaurant in San Francisco, because although he is super duper left and super duper queer, he's gay, he's totally for the queer and all that stuff, it's not good enough when it comes down to Gaza. So let's take a look at his constituents confronting him in a restaurant about Gaza.
Hey, Weiner, you gotta get the fuck out my hood, bro. It's free Palestine here. You already know what it is. We against the genocide. You think you gonna come to my neighborhood, bro? You fucked up. You fucked up. It's gonna be a problem. There's innocent children being killed in Palestine. You don't come here like it's good, but you're pushing that genocidal agenda as a Zionist, bro. Free Palestine. Say free Palestine right now on camera, dog. Say it. 2026. I don't need to talk about none of that shit. I'm talking to him. This is a mission district. You should be ashamed. You have no shame come to my community. This is a mission district, homie. Free Palestine, bro. Hey, are you trying to defend him? I don't want to talk to you. I'm talking to him. Why are you not saying nothing? Why are you not saying nothing, bro? Why are you not saying nothing? Say free Palestine for the camera, dog. You say you're against the genocide, right? That's what you said? Because you're running for office? Say free Palestine then. Say free Palestine. You can put your face on camera, but you can't speak on his behalf. You're a politician, right? You're a senator. You're a position of power. This is what you thought, bro. You come to the mission district, you will get called for the bullshit you do to our people. Maybe everyone here doesn't know what you've done, but I know. Mario Woods, Alex Nieto, Luis Gongora, when they were killed by SAPD, you didn't stand for them. You were silent. Silent as our people got gunned down in these streets. And you come to my community and you think it's okay? It's not okay, bro. It's not okay. Hey, Weiner, you gotta.
Clearly it's not okay. So we have another video of him also being accosted at another Pride event. Here's him being accosted at another Pride event.
Scott, I think your legislation on trans issues and your legislation specifically protecting queers on the sex offender registry is fantastic. Like, I really applaud you for that, and I think you deserve to be here for that. But I think your housing policy, and specifically your housing policy aligning with YIMBYs, and I think your policy, and I think your policy on the genocide in Gaza, and I think your policy on the genocide in Gaza is terrible. I think you do not belong here. I think you do not belong here. You do not belong here, Scott, anymore. It sucks because you've been wonderful. You've been wonderful for trans people, and you've been terrible. And you've been terrible. You've been terrible. You've been terrible on Gaza. You do not belong here anymore, Scott, and it breaks my fucking heart. It breaks my heart. It breaks my heart that someone who wrote good legislation for queers is so fucking terrible on Gaza. Scott, do you have anything to say? Do you have anything to say about Gaza? How could you do this to San Francisco? How could someone like you do this to San Francisco? Scott, say something. Redeem yourself. Do something. Scott, I want to like the person who had such good legislation on trans rights.
You're a piece of shit. We fucking hate you.
Scott, I want to support someone who's so positive on trans rights, but you're a piece of shit on Gaza. How could you do that? How could you betray queers? How could you oppress people?
You stopped being queer the moment you started supporting Israel, you piece of shit!
Now, I'm sure if he could, like, kill himself, I'm sure he would at that moment. I mean, look how sad that was. I mean, they're in his face. They're telling him he has to say things, telling him that he's not good enough. He's not progressive enough. I mean, this is sad. This is the thing about the left, unfortunately. For the left, you just can't be left enough, as you can see. I mean, the man, he's queer. He's gay. Can't get more queer than that. But he's also a Jewish person. He didn't do enough for them for Gaza. So this is the left. This is the modern left, and this is the way they eat themselves alive. I mean, I don't even know where this man is going to go. I mean, he doesn't even have Nancy Pelosi's support. So it's just really sad to see. I mean, I want to feel bad for him, but he's a creep. And like, you know, Trevian said, he probably wouldn't want me to live, or I'm sure if someone was out after me, he definitely wouldn't feel any sorrow for me. So, I mean, it is what it is, but this is the modern left, unfortunately. I mean, I feel for Gaza, obviously. I mean, I'm not one of those people that's like, I'm not a free Gaza, free Palestine person. I'm not one of those people that's going to be out there in the street protesting. I don't believe in protesting really pretty much for anything at this point. I'm more so about, you know, the problems we have here in Philadelphia and across our own country. But that's a big thing for the Democrat Party. This Israel question, this Gaza question specifically, is something that has to be answered. And, you know, all the rainbow flags in the world ain't gonna cut it. People want to hear more than that. People want to hear whether, you know, people want to ask our country to stop funding this, you know, the genocide in Gaza. And it is what it is, Scott Weiner. You live by the woke, you die by the woke, unfortunately. So bad, so sad. Do I feel, you know, particularly bad for him or anything like that? I mean, you know, no. I mean, he'll probably end up losing that seat. He probably won't get Nancy Pelosi's seat because he doesn't even have her support. So it is what it is. Live by the woke, die by the woke. In more unfortunate news, our Supreme Court has yesterday, they upheld this mail-in ballot ruling. Let's take a look at the Fox News footage here and see what they're talking about. I'll get a little of my commentary on it after.
All right, guys, this is not a win for Republicans who were challenging this. Mississippi has a state law which allows ballots to be counted, mail-in ballots after Election Day. If they come in, they're postmarked and meet the state requirements. But it is a 5-4 loss for Republicans, and an interesting cobbling together of who wrote on this. Justice Barrett wrote the opinion. Justice Roberts joined her along with Justices Sotomayor, Kagan, and Jackson. So those 5 stuck together on this. The dissent comes from Justice Alito. Thomas Gorsuch and Kavanaugh join him. And essentially what the majority said is that these federal statutes setting election day don't prescribe, or they don't stand in conflict with states that want to say, okay, we have a procedure to count ballots after Election Day. Justice Alito, writing for the dissent, says today's decision is inconsistent with the terms of the Election Day statutes, contemporary election law principles, 2 centuries of historical practice, and the case law on the question presented. So if you're a state out there that counts ballots after Election Day based on your state law, that state law will stand. We wait on more opinions now, guys. More to come.
So, Shannon, that means, for example, in California, where it takes them forever to count ballots, this doesn't help that situation at all, right?
It does not, because basically they're deferring to the states on when they can count those ballots after Election Day. They say the federal statute may set Election Day, but these states that have allowed for procedures outside of that and the way that they collect and how and when they collect those ballots, those state laws are going to be good. Mississippi was the state here, but yes, this will apply to places like California as well.
Crazy that this all started in a state like Mississippi. I mean, totally nuts. Let's take a look at the other Fox News clip of this.
Breaking news, U.S. Supreme Court, a decision is now in on a challenge led by Republicans to late arriving ballots in elections. Shannon Bream has the ruling. She's got the news and the headline now from the U.S. Supreme Court. Shannon.
Oh, wow. That was the same clip. Okay. Yeah. So look, this is a sad day. It's a sad day in America. I mean, I don't understand why we're insisting upon, or why there are even conservative justices who insisted upon voting for this. Like, when I was a kid, right, growing up in America my whole life, we had Election Day, first Tuesday in November, and I remember watching the election returns for Clinton, for Bush as a kid, and okay, 2000 was weird. That was an anomaly, but we would know. At least, and not even the president went over. We would know for these other smaller elections on the night of. This idea, COVID just totally came in and just changed everything, unfortunately. And it causes so much cheating now. It's not even so much about, I don't want Democrats to win. I don't want this and I don't want that to win. But whoever wins, I just want it to be truthful. I just want to be able to trust and believe in the system. We see what happened in California with Spencer Pratt. And okay, maybe, I mean, yeah, okay, California is a very left-leaning place. Maybe Spencer Pratt really did lose, but it's like all these ballots are coming, way along a week later, 2 weeks later, days later, and they're all marked for this one candidate. Same thing going back to 2020. They're finding all these boxes of ballots that are just marked just for Joe Biden and no one else. It just, whether who wins or loses, it takes away the faith that we have in the system. And how are we going to be an organized, civilized country? We don't even believe in our elections. I hate having to think about every election day. And it's like, damn, such and such won, but did they really win? Such and such won, but did they really? I mean, this is what causes revolutions and fights in the street and all this other stuff. We have to be able to believe in our institutions. And I don't want anyone to win, even the Republicans. I mean, I'm sure I vote for the Republicans. I want the Republicans to win, but I wouldn't want us to win if we have to cheat to win. I don't want that. I want the actual will of the people. I want it so that when these candidates have to go out there, they have to appeal to the people, have to go out there and, say what has to be said, do what has to be done, and be able to hold them to their promises. We can't do that if the voting is not real. How can we ever expect to say, you said you're going to do this, you're going to cut this tax, you're going to do this XYZ thing, but then on election night, this person would randomly win or that person would randomly win? How can we even hold our politicians to anything? Why would our politicians even have to work for? Why would they even care to have to work for us? If anything, if I know I'm a politician and I know there's all this extra ballot voting, ballot stuffing and you drop boxes and whatever, then why would I have to go out here and try to, pander or even try to get the support of people? I may as well get support of the ballot box people. I may as well get the support of whoever runs the ballot box. I mean, where was the old proverb that says it's not about, who wins the election, it's about who counts the votes. Ultimately, not about who votes, but who counts the votes. So if anything, I'm running for office. Let me be cool with whoever's counting the votes because they're going to decide ultimately who wins. So this is very sad. I didn't really expect this from our quote unquote, 6-3 conservative Supreme Court. We have also the ruling on birthright citizenship went through. They're going to stick to that, which I'm going to talk about further on my podcast tomorrow. I have to do more research on it. Catch me tomorrow on my podcast at 2, Binge Urban and all the things. Tomorrow at 2, we'll go further into that. But even that birthright citizenship, something that was meant for, and Trump said this, racist Trump said this, something that was meant for Black children and Black families after slavery is now used for any birth tourist. Any Chinese woman can come, any Guatemalan woman can come, drop a baby here, and now she has the same citizenship right, or that baby has the same citizenship rights as you and me. This is nuts. And this is also be our 6-3 Supreme Court. But it all goes back to Trump and his support, and with this war and all that, because when Trump's numbers are down, people feel more comfortable going outside of, of going outside the side of Trump or voting against Trump, even our Supreme Court justices. If Trump were doing better in the polls, if Trump had more support, there'd be much more of a just an unction. It'd be much more of a sentiment to say, okay, let's vote on the side of Trump because this is where the people are. But when Trump's numbers are down, we have these sort of things that are happening. So this is just, it's incredibly sad. I hate this. I hate to see where our country is going, because now I'm in the balloting. What election's ever going to be real now? And even now, I've moved from New York to Pennsylvania. I mean, by way of Florida. But it's like, even here in Pennsylvania, even here in Philadelphia, there's so much corruption here where it's like, can we ever really trust? Can I ever really trust any state that Democrats run? Because they're going to do whatever they have to do or make the ballots go whatever way. Votes coming in a week later, so we can just make whatever outcome we want or put whoever we want in. Does it really matter? So, I mean, I guess this is why, going back to what we were talking about with young people not voting, I guess this is why young people aren't voting. I guess this is why young people are saying, F this. What I do really make a difference at the end of the day? That's why such nihilism's kind of swept over our country, and even going into July 4th, 2026. I mean, it's our 250th. I wish I were happier with the way things are going, but I'm just not. It just seems like this is it's all a scam. It's all a psyop. They decide who, there would always be those people who would say, when I was a kid, they would say, like, the president isn't, elected, he's selected. And that's kind of one of those conspiracy theories. And, as a well-meaning American, I didn't want to think things like that. I don't want to be nihilistic. I don't want to think that, America is not, what it's cracked out to be, and it's, not land of free, home, and brave, all this. I didn't even want to think those things. But when you see rulings like this, you already know where that's going to go. So, I mean, I would hope that we could pass the SAVE Act to kind of counteract this, but SAVE Act not looking very good either. We have John Thune. He's out here obstructing it, basically. And again, because Trump's numbers aren't through the roof, it's not like John Thune feels as though he's going to get that much pushback from his constituency in South Dakota to run for, to go for what Trump wants. So it always goes back to that. It always goes back to the president. It always goes back to his approval ratings. When Trump's approval ratings are low, we can expect these losses in the Supreme Court. We can expect these losses in Congress, because no one feels as though they have to jump on the Trump's train, or they have to do what Trump says do, because Trump is limited in his power. And a big part of Trump's power was his appeal to the people. Our following of him, and so much of MAGA used to be this unstoppable, powerful force, especially on, the conservative side of him. We're the ones that got, what's his name? Neil Gorsuch and the other guy, the one with the whole sex scandal, I forgot his name. We got them their seats in the Supreme Court. That was us who did that. Amy Coney Barrett as well. But look what they do. And I'm not saying that we should take away power from the judiciary. I actually like the judiciary is a lifetime appointment, so they can be able to make these decisions even when they're unpopular. But this doesn't even make sense. This makes no sense at all. There's no longer election day, election week, election month. They can just go on forever. Like, there's no stopping this. In California, you can write down the postmark date. Oh, it's like, I'm just gonna write down by that date, and they're counting votes a week. How can we even believe in this system for real? How can we believe in this? And it's only but so much we can do, even as conservatives, to kind of insulate ourselves from this. Yeah, we can move to a red state. You can move to a Florida or Oklahoma or whatever. But what can we do to stop this? Our elections are no longer a real say of what the people think at that snapshot in time. It can be whatever they want it to be. It's very sad. I mean, we can't go another 250 years like that. I'll say that. If the people don't feel like the elections are real, if they don't feel like their voices are being heard, this is when you have anarchy. This is when you have violence. And I don't want any of these things. But not to parrot a wokey expression, but I believe, I don't know if it was MLK who said it, but who said like that violence or riots are the voice of the unheard or the voice of the oppressed or whatever. And oppression is more than just skin color. If I vote and we've all voted and we feel one way, but the government comes and says, nah, actually, no, it's going to be this way now. You're oppressing the voice of the people. There's only but so much that you're going to be able to do. That can't last forever. And I just think that Trump in this whole fog of war and his whole like just being just so detached away from his base and away from what the people want are just not seeing that. And unfortunately, when you get away from the pulse of the people, these are the results. None of these people were scared to dissent against Trump. There was no fear in any of these people to go against Trump. No fear. No fear from John Thune. No fear from Amy Coney Barrett. Because again, Trump's numbers are going down, unfortunately, and there's no real political hell to pay for opposing him, even if this is what he wants. I mean, 80% of people are for some type of voter ID. So how are we getting these types of rulings? We have a comment from Kilburn. Our Supreme Court joke. Our Supreme Court is absolutely a joke. It's absolutely a joke, and I think that we need to stop resting on our laurels and thinking this is a conservative court, because it's not. They're not even conservative in that, you know, right-leaning conservative. They're not even conserving the norms of our country. Since when is election day and election season? When did that start? That was not how we started. Even back in the day, election day, when there were horse and drawn buggies and things of that nature, we had election that day. Yeah, granted, California may not find out about it for a week or so, but they aren't sending ballots in. You know what happened that day? It was that day. You have a country like India. India is a country with 4 times as many people as we have. Yet India can get their elections done in one night. Countries don't even have the type of money and type of technology that we have can getting it done in one day. So what are we saying here? This is literally just a way that we can cheat. That's all this is. I don't even say Democrats, just for everybody. Because in the Republicans say they could do the same thing. I mean, right now, Democrats seem to be ones that are pushing for this now. But the Supreme Court, this is not a Democrat Supreme Court. This is not a liberal Supreme Court that did this. So I'm sure there are probably some Republicans that could say, yeah, you know, actually, we can kind of make this work for us too in a place like Mississippi, which this came down in. I don't want that. For me, it's not about Republican or Democrat winning. I just want the actual say of the people. If the people want a Mamdani, if the people want, you know, some left-leaning person, let that be the voice of the people, but don't let it be some people on high somewhere in an election, whatever group or some secretary of state of some state decided this is who we want and this is who we got now. But this is what it doesn't lead to a good place. It doesn't lead to a good place. It does not lead to a good place. This is what causes revolution. This is what causes countries and societies to break down. And I just hate to see that. I love America. I think that America, this country has the most opportunity for anybody. I love the fact that we saw all these World Cup people, these visitors from Europe and Asia and whatever, really getting to our country and really appreciating the little things that we don't no longer appreciate in this country. You know, the Buc-ee's, the restaurants, the all you can eat, the Walmart, the Costco, all these are everyday things that it just made me feel really good as an American to see that that's being appreciated by other people in other parts of the world. Our democracy, because as much as Democrats cry about democracy, this is not democracy. Randomly deciding votes and things coming 2 and 3, and they do this in the name of democracy. It's not democracy. There's nothing wrong with elections being one day. I can even say even early voting. Okay, fine, early voting. I can get with early voting, but it has to stop somewhere. You can't have half the votes counted and then like, oh yeah, there's still more ballots coming in. Is that Trevian? Is Trevian still here? Are you back? Okay, I see you. Okay, I see you.
Yes.
I'm sorry, you fixing your hair. We were just talking about we talked about Weiner and his weird ass, whatever. That wasn't much to say about that. Besides the fact that obviously his support for Gaza is not support enough for his people. Obviously he's queer, he's gay, he's
right.
he's voting for you can pass around AIDS and that's fine. But his support for Gaza is just not left-leaning enough for them. So, I mean, if you want to, I know that you are a supporter of Gaza. Me, I'm kind of indifferent. We love Gaza or whatever, but I love Philadelphia more. So, but as a person who is a supporter of Gaza, and I know you saw the videos or whatever, how do you feel about Weiner And we're not supportive of Weiner himself, but being a supporter of
Well,
Gaza, how do you feel about that?
one, his last name is Weiner, and two, he's Jewish.
He's not the
So
only one. Anthony Weiner in New York also. So Weiner is
exactly
a popular Jewish last name I'm hearing.
right. So he, for him to stay in office, he has to tote the line. And it's so funny because the gay, trans, queer audience, they're so fucking fickle. Like, you give them a little bit, you give them their rights, you give them that, and they want to just keep pulling, pulling, pulling. Queer has nothing to do with genocide. And then you've got trans, blah, 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 who are just like everybody else, who can walk in and buy whatever they want, just like anybody else. There's no, I don't, I don't
Hold up,
make
Debbie.
excuses for
Hold up.
that
Go
audience.
out. Hold on. Go out and come back in because you're glitching. I'm gonna remove you. Go out, click and then come back
Okay.
in because I don't know why it's acting up, but I want people to hear what you're saying. So go out and come back in. I'm gonna take you off. Go out and come back in.
Okay.
Yeah, this daggone StreamYard is so ratchet and ghetto, and I would rather just like, yeah, let me move her out. I'd rather her come in correct because I'm experiencing this whole thing with the StreamYard is very like, I want y'all to be able to understand and get everything she's saying. But yeah, back to what she was saying about Gaza. Unfortunately, with Gaza, it's never going to be enough for these people. They're very, very. I feel like dealing with like that kind of like queer, kind of like left-leaning audience is almost like dealing with like music fans or something. They're very fickle. It's very like here today, gone tomorrow. All right, Trev's back. Okay. I think that's better.
All right.
Okay, so go ahead.
So I just think the whole gay, queer, trans audience, they're just too fickle for me to take serious anymore because you can do whatever I can do out here. As a matter of fact, you get to role play all day and your name is Harry, but you want me to call you Henrietta. And so it's like, look, y'all have to make there's nothing like wiping out 500,000 people to saying, okay, well, I'm queer and I don't like where you stand on something. People need, I think we need to come back down to reality when we start talking of, meshing, different political situations because Gaza has nothing to do with queer people. And queer people's rights are over here in America. What's happening over in Gaza is a plain genocide. And anybody and everybody who denies that, you have to look at who they are as human beings. And when you don't have any type of compassion for life, yes, here in America is our main priority. This is what we are concerned with. But we also have to take responsibility for our role and how we are implicated in the total extermination of Palestine, especially when that
We're paying
country,
for it.
especially when that country took in these Jews when they were fucking orphans, when nobody fucking wanted them to be around because everybody knows how they operate. But they took these Jews in, and now look, these same Jews that they allowed to have a place to live have now wiped them out of where it is that is their natural birthright. And so
okay, go ahead.
queer and Gaza have nothing to do with each other. I think
I wanted to give you
that trans, gay, that community, they get it twisted. That's why we have to stop even thinking that they are separate. I've lumped them into everybody. You got crazy people out here who, are just naturally crazy. You have trans people who are Bill but want to be Brenda. That's what you want to do. Go do that. But you don't have the right to put your plight in the same bucket as these people who have been annihilated. And so that's why I said I think the trans, gay, whatever y'all want to call yourselves or what it is, it's y'all go too far. And that's why nobody takes you fucking seriously anymore. Because you motherfuckers lose your fucking mind thinking you're bigger than this and your cause is not bigger than
yeah, they're
anything
crazy.
else. Your cause is not bigger than anybody else. And we don't give a fuck. So y'all look stupid out here saying this shit. Nobody cares. Y'all may get, if that's the tote y'all boat, y'all gonna get, uprivaled and that's how you make yourselves feel good. that's only going to work for you, because the real people, the general public, people out here moving and shit, we don't give a fuck about what you think. We do not care. Be yourself. Do what you're going to do. Don't touch no fucking kids. And we don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? We don't give a fuck.
Well, see, Scott Weiner is in a very, obviously he's not in regular America. He's in a very much, a weird, he's in San Francisco. I mean, he's in a, a gay, trans, enclave where they, like, again, he put legislation to make, like, passing through HIV, like, not a criminal, you know what I mean? Which is, like, to the rest of the country was like, what? Crazy. But in a place like that, that sort of thing is a thing that it's almost like being Amish or something, where there's just certain things that are going to affect this certain sect of people more than they would anybody else, and it just makes it like their own strange little place. Not that the Amish are strange, I like the Amish, but you know what I'm saying, just that one little thing. But I'll give you let me get push back and give you the Fox News argument. What do you say as a Muslim woman? Because I know you've heard this before or whatever on Fox News, when they say, like, I don't understand the queers for Gaza because if you were over there, they'd push you off a roof or something. Like, how true is that? What do you say to that when they say that? Like, when they say it's weird that the gays are for, Gaza, basically.
The gays are becoming like Black people, attaching their plight to everybody else's plight. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's fucking idiotic. It's losing that whole movement is losing all credibility, because, like, Black people, oh, we support Ukraine. Why the fuck you supporting Ukraine? Oh, we support the fucking illegals. Why the fuck you supporting the illegals? Oh,
they shouldn't support your Black ass.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, look, Black people have attached themselves. You want to get involved and support this and this. Fuck all that shit.
Reminds me
support
of something.
Yourself.
I was watching. Are you familiar with Glenn Greenwald? I love Glenn Greenwald. He's
totally,
gay guy who is
he's
a reporter or whatever, and he's very pro Gaza and whatever. And he was saying that as a gay man, he was saying that, like, the gay movement after the gay marriage thing, the Olga Raphael, whatever that was, 2015, with the gay marriage can leave, it was like there was nothing else for the gay movement to do. So it's like they had to, like, latch themselves onto, like, because you remember there's, like, this whole, like, underpinning of HRC and all these
that's all Black Lives Matter was.
But once the dog caught up to the car, it's like, okay, well, there's nothing else left here to do. So they had to, like, push and, like, okay, now it's all about, like, trans. And when you were saying about, like, how Black people attach themselves to our movement, I don't necessarily think it's the gays attaching themselves to the Gaza movement. I think the Democrat Party does that. Because, again, back when I was saying to you about how the Democrats are going to take your insecurity, your thing, and say, like, you know what I mean? If we give you this, then, you're a part of us because we give you this Black thing or this gay thing or this woman thing, whatever. And I think that as Democrats, because we're trying to create this hodgepodge, because think about it. The only thing that holds the Democrat Party together, because, mind you, have, like, people that are, like, Muslims that don't do the whole gay thing. You have, like, the queer gay, whatever, is hatred on white men. That's pretty much it. What these people have in common, except that we hate the white man. The white man's the enemy. So they have to use that to kind of, like, put everything together. And in watching that video of Scott Weiner, I mean, I don't feel bad for him because he wouldn't feel bad for me. I think it's kind of hilarious. But it's like, no matter what you do for these people, it's just never going to be enough.
It's never going to be enough.
And besides the fact that at the end of the day, it's funny because, like, how I'm about to flip this. Remember how they talk about how we get, like, we as Black conservatives, we get our Negro wake up call. They always say, like, one day, them white folks gonna tell you how they really feel about you. He got his white Jewish wake up call as Democrat, because no matter what, no matter how queer, no matter how lefty you go, they're gonna remind you you're still a white Jew and you're a man. I don't care whether you're gay or not.
Now, see, I gotta correct you. Jews are not white. Jews are not white, and Jews will tell you that they're not
to
white.
them. But I don't mean in real life. I just mean, like, as far as, like, the perception to them, he will be perceived to them as a quote unquote privileged, white man, Jewish man, whatever. I mean, I'm not talking about, like, the actual, like, DNA and things, but I just mean, like, according to the left, he got his white Jewish man wake up call, because no matter what, you're never going to be a Black queer quadriplegic, but you're never going to be that. You know what I mean? No matter how much woke stuff you do,
it's unfortunate.
He got his wake up call
because Black Lives Matter was just a gay movement.
I think that was.
It was a gay movement. It was a gay, trans, queer movement, and we still don't know where a penny of that money went. Where is how they bottlenecked all these corporations and forced, if you don't give money to Black Lives Matter, you're not a good business. Where are all those hundreds of billions of dollars that were extorted out of all these people?
I mean,
where's that money?
Well, it goes where it always goes. Well, obviously the founders, they get their cut, but all these organizations and all of these, because remember what they always do with all these organizations and all these fundings, all these different whatever, it's just going to friends of people who are, in the government. So it's like, okay,
And
my
give them a
cousin's
contract.
sister started a gay nonprofit for AIDS, whatever, AIDS research. So then they get money. Or you start a black nonprofit in, Minneapolis for the Somalians, then they get money. It's all about, friends and it's just taking the government money and doing crony capitalism, but instead of putting it into business, like the Republicans tend to put things in different, like they tend to embezzle and, the type of Trump shit, embezzle, put things in businesses. The left does it, but they do it with charity. It's the same thing,
right?
But they do it with charity. The left knows how to paint. That's the one thing the left has over the right. The left knows how to paint a better picture and make it look rosier and sunnier and benevolent. Look, we're giving money to this, to the HRC, the Human Rights Campaign. We want rights. It's not about rights. It's a money laundering operation. And that's what they do. Instead of laundering it to businesses like Republicans would do, they launder it to charities and NGOs and community organizing, and even all these this pride stuff. Most of this stuff is funded by these these community organizations who get money off the government, off the taxpayer, and it's all just funneled down into whatever. Speaking of pride, let's see one that was funded before we go into the Supreme Court thing. Let's watch this performance of, our friend. I'm sure actually before I need to get into this, I need to find this video, because there's a video of me before we go into Jussie Smollett, because we're about to talk Jussie Smollett. So I kind of came to fame as a person who called out Jussie Smollett on his bullshit like the day after it happened. So I gotta take you back to 2019. Back in 2019. Okay, when this whole Jussie Smollett thing came out, and again, as I told y'all about Laura Trump and the Trump people, they were very leery about looking bad in the public. They're very leery about bad headlines and stuff like that. So they weren't ready to really make moves. And Trump's way bolder and says a lot bolder things as far as black people and black people on Congress, things than he did back then. And those days, absolutely not. It's very much like they were scared of bad racial headlines. So Jussie came out with this whole thing. He said it was the MAGA people. They did it. They did this to me. And oh my gosh. And, everybody, of course, they all believed it. Nobody wanted to say anything bad about Jussie. Nobody wanted to so were you in Chicago when that whole thing happened with Jussie?
Ain't nobody coming out with no ropes and
while
5 below zero.
Give us your experience of that whole happening from a Chicago person's point of view.
This was about 3 blocks away from one of my houses. And so I know that area at Kinsey where that subway is, there's a down underpass where, I know that area like the back of my hand. I run it every day. And so just knowing in the middle of the night, mind you, it's 1-2 o'clock in the morning and it's 10 degrees in Chicago. The bleach, all of that's going to be frozen. None of it made any sense. But I tell everybody that Jussie Smollett is the reason why R. Kelly is in jail. Because no. And I can break it all down for you. It's and I was working with R. Kelly at the time. And so Jussie Smollett, it was found out that his whole thing was a farce. This is MAGA country. That's Chicago. Ain't no MAGA country in Chicago. Okay. So he goes up like he's Tupac, blah, blah, and then the pieces start falling apart. The police station find out, okay, he's lying, it's bullshit. So now everybody's looking into Jussie Smollett, and it's found that Kim Foxx, who was the state's attorney at the time, took an illegal donation from Jussie Smollett. She was up for a re-election, and so she had to take the heat off of her. The only thing moving every story, I was in the news every week with R. Kelly. The only thing that could take the heat off of Kim Foxx was R. Kelly. So now Kim Foxx starts saying, okay, look, we need something. I got to save my campaign. Scapegoat R. Kelly. Now we start bringing in all these people who used to have some relationship or NDA or something with R. Kelly. And so now the Obama start calling, well, let's do a series on R. Kelly. That's when you start hearing now Surviving R. Kelly. All of this was to save Kim Foxx's career. So if not for Jussie Smollett, R. Kelly would not be in jail to this day. Actually, Two reasons. I tried to send R. Kelly to Africa to let all that shit boil down and quiet down, and he wouldn't go because he was scared to fly. So
Yeah,
yeah, so
he's
yeah,
normal. He's
just
known for that.
Jussie Smollett is the reason that R. Kelly is in jail right now. That's how that
So
happened.
now, what about the because I remember when Jussie Smollett did that whole thing, there was also that tie to like that anti-lynching bill. Remember the tie to the anti-lynching bill with what's his name with Cory Booker and Kamala Harris, because remember they made that whole story about the lynching thing and it was like retarded, and it was like but it was like with Kamala Harris, they had like that legislation. It was like it came out like the next week or whatever, because he's very cool with
Look,
them. They
there's
had all these
all
pictures of
well,
him.
I'll tell you, when they started, when the Obamas and Kamala and them started calling to blow this whole R. Kelly situation up, and we got a whole series on Lifetime because they started calling their friends, hey, we need to make a big spectacle. We can pass some things through while everybody's paying attention to Jussie Smollett and R. Kelly. So, I mean, everybody plays the same dirty politics. Everybody gets in trouble. They find a scapegoat to like this war is bullshit. But now we got people like the dirty J6er that's out there, in front of the BET Awards. So it's all a game. It's always concocted. And I just tell everybody, get your money. Find a way to get your money.
Yeah,
Everybody else is out here getting it. Your politicians are stealing it. There's a way, there's a rework and an overwork and an overlay or an underplay for you to find a way to get legal money the same way our politicians are stealing it. So that's what I would tell everybody. Fuck
exactly.
all the shit going on. Fuck it, it don't even I don't even watch the news anymore because I've been such a part of the news cycle where we create these stories for you all to watch and get upset about. I know that unless a plane crashes into your neighbor's house, we done made up the news story somewhere. So all of it's a lie. All of don't even watch the news. Focus on your money, focus on your family, focus on your stability, focus on your future, because that's all this shit is about. We got about 4 years before shit drop bottoms out again. You saw what happened in 2020. 2030 is just a 2.0 of 2020. So also,
Yep.
if you're buying property, there's something that we need to add to your clauses and your leases. You need to have a clause in your lease or your mortgage agreement that says that you will own that property henceforth and forevermore throughout the universe. Come 2030, all land is going to be up for grabs. People don't say, "Oh, well, this is such amendment protect." It doesn't. Nothing protects you anymore. They're already taking land in Tennessee and Alabama and Louisiana and Kentucky. People who have worked their whole lives
Is
because
this
of
what you were
some
saying about like about like the Jewish situation? Because I know I saw like a
exactly.
video that was viral and it was like these
It's
people they
so
was talking
true. It
about
is so
like in
true.
Brooklyn, like these
It
Jewish
is
people
so
came to
true.
black people and would take their houses or
It is
something.
so true. It is so true. And
I
if
remember
you're
that.
buying some, don't let your title company say, "Oh, we can't. That's against our state laws." Don't let your title company tell you that you can't add that clause to your mortgage contract because that is the only thing that's going to save you come 2030 and beyond. They will be able to find some redistricting line, some policy that happened in 1812 to be able to come and wipe your property and your land from you. And people think this is a joke. I'm not happy about all of the things that I have learned about being in this deadly cycle that we call politics. I'm not happy when I find out particular things, but when I do find out things, I feel like it's my obligation to let the public know, look, this is what your government's going to do to you. And people, oh, they can't do that. How do you know? I don't have to tell you how I know. If I'm telling you, it's because I know. So make sure if you're going to buy land, if you're going to buy a home, actually in Chicago, you can only buy the house. You don't get the land that it's on. I tell everybody to move south because at least you will own the land. You can't own the land in a major city, especially New York, Chicago, LA.
Yeah.
No, the government already owns it. Go somewhere where you not only own the structure that's on the land, you own the land. Okay, that's what and make sure that clause says henceforth and forevermore throughout the universe. Because right now there are people just rubbing their hands, waiting for this 2030 situation to happen. And you'll be surprised that everything that your family worked for, your great grandmama who left you that house, is no longer going to be yours, even though you kept up on the taxes. So That's my tidbit of information for the day.
Just to add, and this is also another thing that made me that got me very upset with Trump. Speaking of what you know about the tax situation, with this whole thing with the war and everything else, and one of the things I've talked about when because we were talking while you were gone, I was saying that even with these Supreme Court cases and all these losses that Trump is getting between like the Supreme Court case L, the SAVE Act L, a lot of this comes from
the Birthright Citizen, the Birthright Citizen Act.
Yeah, right, all these L's, because John Thune just knows that he's not going to get any political pushback from being against Trump, because at the end of the day, Trump's approval rating is in the garbage. So it's like, whatever, they're like, whatever, no one cares. You know what I mean? Like, who cares? You know what I mean? I'm going to do whatever I want to do, whatever. Same thing even with the Supreme Court with Amy Coney Barrett, and you know what I mean? People like, because it's like, okay, whatever, who cares? There's not going to be any real, mind you, the fact that Trump fought to get all these people in the Supreme Court. So you'd think, you know what I mean? I understand it's a lifetime appointment and they shouldn't necessarily be beholden to Trump. But I mean, there is some sort of like, because the Democrats, them three Democrat heifers, hold the line, okay?
They do.
They hold, how many 6-3s have we had? And it be them three heifers. You know what I mean? They hold the line, okay? They're not playing. They hold the line for theirs. I got to give it to them. They hold the line for, for theirs. But with all these L's that are coming up, I think about what you're saying about the taxes. Like you had like 10 states, and DeSantis was leading this or whatever, talking about how they want to get rid of property taxes. But the thing about this is that for that to happen, Republicans have to be in office. But if Trump F's everything up, we get a whole bunch of Democrats in. You can forget that. You know what I mean? Like that's what I'm saying. It's so much bigger than just Trump. It's a whole movement on the right that we're moving toward, lower tax. I'm not actually, as you can hear, about paying taxes.
When I tell you right now,
those are the things that we're moving toward.
Tennessee and Florida got it popping. Right now, there's no personal taxes in the state of Tennessee. So basically, if you have a business and your business makes money, you can turn around and pay yourself. Now that's personal taxes. So now you pay 0 taxes from your business. Like these are the Trump files that people don't really pay attention to. Like for me, I'm just trying to tell y'all how to get money. All this other bullshit happening out here, I don't give a fuck. I could care less. But I'm telling you right now.
That's what I'm saying. That's what That's what's so sad, because when with Trump's popularity going down, there's so many good things that we fought for that now going to go down the toilet, because once the Democrats get in, and a lot of the things that Trump got, because let's be honest, there weren't all that many legislative wins anyway. So anything that's like going to be on some like executive order type thing, next day or next president, whether it be Newsom or whoever the hell, God forbid, or a Democrat gets in, all that's gone. So it's like everything that we did now doesn't even matter anymore. And that's the
Benji,
part.
I'm gonna tell you, it doesn't even matter who's in office. Okay, it doesn't matter. That's what people, and that's what we've been programmed to believe. It's all bullshit. It's all a lie. I wish, I look, I'm thankful for every move that I made for this president. I'm in the history books now. I'm not, you never know, when you're young, you see yourself somewhere, but you just never know how you're going to get there. Everything that I see for myself, it's happening. So I'm thankful to the president for this. I'm never gonna just not. I got a pardon. I'm thankful for all of it. That Anti-Weaponization Act, that 1.7 billion, part of that's mine. Hallelujah, President Trump. Okay. However, it doesn't.
How is that? How is that going to work?
So you all know the feds were after me for 3 years, sitting outside my house, just bugging my phone, my emails, my Ubers. They was following me anywhere I went. The feds were there. So if you had been unjustly investigated during this whole political season, the whole J6 situation, even if you pled guilty in the J6 situation. So right now, as I see it, there are about 4,000 people who in some way have these ties to be eligible for a piece of that 1.7 billion. And 4,000 people is still small, but you get to everything that you may have lost during that time, you can now calculate it and get damages. As you all know, at the time I was working with Terrence Crawford, Kanye, Regina King, there was Queen Rania of Jordan, Krekor Boutian in Beirut. All of these people had to draw back from me once these whole indictment and all this saga started happening. So now I can finally claim damages and get some type of reimbursement for that. And that's going to be in the millions of dollars because it's on paper. I've been making millions of dollars for years. So I'm thankful for that. You know what I'm saying? But again, as you see it, it's Trump's friends who are getting paid. So it's good to be you never want to be the president. You just want to be the president's friend because the benefits are abundant, especially with this president. And so I'm grateful for all those things, but I want people to know there's no Republican, there's no Democrat, there's no man in the White House. The country is run by corporations. You got to get your money like these corporations. You got to get you some offshore accounts. You have to be able to understand how business works. Forget social media, forget all of that. Go digging into the tax code. Go dig into how you can put money in Panama. Go put money in Mauritius. You know, these are the things that I think I would, if I could talk one-on-one to people, I would share what I know about what I've learned from inside of our government and inside business, because I think those things are more important than worrying about them trans people. None of it's going to matter if shit hits the fan tomorrow. You know what's going to matter? Your bank account and what you can leverage. That's what's going to matter. So I stay focused that way. Y'all know, like I said, I'm highly opinionated. I do have access to a lot of information, good and bad. And so I don't mind sharing it. So that's where we are.
No, that's what's up. I was trying to find this video of myself going up again. I can only find it on my phone. I was trying to, like, this whole trying to do all this technical shit. I'm not the best at it, but we're gonna have to just keep this hood, and I'm gonna have to show you this video on my phone so I can show what I'm talking about. So ghetto. We can probably, like, if I clip this, I'll put it in during post. But I want to show y'all this because, as we were saying, with that whole Jussie Smollett thing, nobody on the right was trying to say anything against that. Everybody was all quiet. Everybody all scared. And what happened was I was going to, as you guys, I know you guys, y'all see me on Newsmax. I'll be on Carl Higbie show. So Carl Higbie had this like town hall thing or whatever in Connecticut, and I was gonna go just to be an audience or whatever. And I was on my way up there, and basically because he was dealing with his own like scandal situation, which y'all go look up what I ain't gonna say, but he was in his own situation, whatever. And so a lot of the people that were gonna go, all these like Fox people, all these, he had like liberals and conservatives, everybody like at the last minute just like bailed on him. They were like, they just didn't come, they weren't gonna do it, whatever. So it was me, and so basically it was him, and it was Dr. Borelli from Newsmax, who, this is before there was a Newsmax. This is like, I think it's like 2018, 2019. And no, 2019. It was like the day after Jussie Smollett thing happened. So I was on my way driving up to Connecticut, and I was gonna, see him when I got there, whatever. And he was like, hey, do you want to do like this panel? And I was like, okay, sure. Mind you, I had no preparation or nothing like that for the panel at all. And somebody had came and they asked about the Jussie Smollett thing. And I just was honest. I just said, I think it was bullshit. And it's crazy because like, this is like the day after, the whole audience just gasped, like, because you weren't supposed to say that. You know what I mean? Like, how can you say something like that? So there was a newest situation where this other lady had did another hoax, where she had put a noose on her desk. This happened like maybe like a year or so ago. Come to find out, she did it herself. Like, it was actually her noose. So I'm going to play this clip from my phone. Unfortunately, I can't get a computer. I'm going to play this clip from my phone where it shows that Jussie Smollett situation. So I'm about to pull this up. We are the real hood conservative. About to keep this real hood for a second. And then we'll go into Jussie's newest performance
now,
here.
Benji, if my battery dies, my battery may die. So that's why, I might zap. But okay, I'm here.
Plug it on in. We're about to wrap up anyway, but because we'll wrap up with Jussie. But I want to show you guys this video. Okay. Here it goes. Oh. Swabbed everybody in the office. The only DNA on it was hers. This is like absolutely disgusting, but we've been here because if we look back at 2019, this is deja vu all over again with the Jussie Smollett hoax and things like that. Called before anyone else. I did call him. So we're calling this once again. President Trump has a name for this. He calls it fake news. But anyway, this is absolutely disgusting what she's done. Obviously, she is making a mockery of people who have gone through like real racial crimes and real racial things. So I mean, obviously, let's not do this for clout. But I thought to myself, like, what would I do if I came to work and there was like a noose on my desk? Like, what would I do? I wouldn't make a report like this. If anything, I would go to those people and say, look, if someone wants to kill me, if you want to kill me because I'm black, come tell me. Like, to do this whole noose weird thing, leaving this. I don't even think that's a real thing. I don't even think that actual white people do this. It just seems to be something that people just do for fun. It's absolutely great. Yeah, this lady, lock her up, throw away the key. Jussie Smollett, who is a well-known. So this was at that panel I was telling you guys about. According to his testimony to the police, said this is MAGA country. So as a Trump supporter, how do you square that? Do you feel safe? Okay, so a MAGA supporter outside who probably doesn't watch Empire, probably never seen it because it's too leftist even for me to watch. But you know, they probably never seen it. They're outside 2 o'clock in the morning. They have to bleach, robe. It's like 10 degrees below zero, and they know this guy and look for him and do this. Clearly, it's BS. I think it was fake news from the first time.
When you stood up there and you told it's a bunch of crap. I don't think it ever happened, and it had just come out, and it looked pretty bad.
Yeah,
you signed your neck and bleach and a ski mask.
It just didn't make any sense.
I agree it didn't make any sense, but I didn't have the guts on nationwide TV to say, "Oh, I don't believe that story. I think it's a bunch of crap."
A lot of white people felt as though they didn't have, you know, they were afraid or didn't want to say it or whatever. But
afraid. I mean, he's gay and he's getting beaten up by his magnet.
Like the third rail. What's so ridiculous? I want to say, as a black person, a black conservative, is that I hate that because it's like that's like the bigger existential thing. You're bigger than Jussie Smollett in general because it's like we have to treat black people like we're retarded or like we're children or like we have to be sheltered. It's like, oh, don't say that about the black people. Don't say that. And it's like treat me like any other African person. You know what I mean? Like right, we have to be infantilized.
That's the Me Too movement too, right. And it's like everyone.
And the issue is that a lot of black people, a lot of people on the left feel like that's power because they can't say X, Y, Z, or they have to go and treat us with kid gloves. Like, no, they're treating us like we're retarded. Like that's not power. But that's the thing. That's the power of
there's something to that, especially with the Me Too movement too.
Exactly. So the whole Jussie Smollett thing, I had the second clip that showed that was that Carl Higby's panel in which I called that thing out the day after because obviously it was bullshit. I mean, that story is ridiculous. It was basically a story off of the show Empire, basically. So yeah, I've always been kind of enemy, I don't want to say enemy, but antagonistic toward Jussie Smollett. So we will check out what Jussie Smollett, just before we wrap up here, let's check out what Jussie Smollett's been up to lately. He was at a Pride performance, and let's see where that career's gone since he lost it there. So I guess there was like a song somewhere in there but I want to show you guys. Remember what I was just saying about how like the left uses and they funnel money to like all these organizations. You see all these people that sponsor these sort of things or whatever. You see this NYC Department of Youth and Community Development. All this is where the left funnels their money because somebody had to pay Jussie to be there. They paid for the stage. There are some sponsors like Gilead, which is a HIV medication or whatever. We got like TD Bank and whatever. But this is the type of corporate cronyism that the left does. The right does a lot of things with, again, with, embezzlements and companies and whatever. But the left, they do it kind of like on the sly. Let's have this organization so we can like help people and let's fund the Pride and let's whatever. But all these organizations, like you said, this NYC Department of and the Harlem Pride, I think this is like a Harlem Pride, all these people are staffed by people that are friends with people in the Democrat government, whether it be city government, state government, and this is how they're able to funnel money to them. So that's like their own little version of like crony corporate capitalism. Is that, and they'll have people like Jussie coming in and wasting people's time dancing around like a crazy person. So with that foolishness, we will wrap up here. I'm gonna let you guys know that we will be back next Tuesday. Me, Trevi, and Laverne every Tuesday at 2. There may be more shows on top of that. Maybe do like a second day of the week. But right now, every Tuesday at 2. I want to thank all 934 of you for showing up. We almost got to 1,000. Which is great. There'll be more notice next time. I'll have Laverne post, I'll have more stuff so you can know this is coming. Today was kind of sort of like impromptu, but as I said, every week we're getting there. You know what I mean? We're getting there. Thanks, Kilburn. Have a good evening to you as well. He actually had another comment here. Oh, your 308 protection. Exactly. I mean, between our guns and guns and God, like Obama said, we cling to our guns and our God. But anyway, to Jesus, we have to specify. So we'll be back next week. There'll be more subjects, more things going on. Of course, you want to hear more of your opinions. You can always email me. You can DM me. My email. Actually, better just DM me. I'm Ben Jerby on everything. So just Ben Jerby. That's my thingy here at Ben Jerby. You can DM me on everything. Move my head out of the way. At Ben Jerby on everything. My DMs are open. Of course, we're going to have some of your favorites coming back on the show on our panel to have these discussions as time goes on. So I want to thank everybody for showing up here. I appreciate everybody. Be sure to like, subscribe, retweet the show. Laverne appreciates it as well. She's definitely glad for everybody who came in today. I will tell her a report of all who came and everything. And we will see you next Tuesday. And also, if you want more of me, which I'm sure you do, come back to my X or my Instagram or my stuff tomorrow, Ben Jerby. I will be having a show tomorrow, doing my own podcast tomorrow, the Binge Podcast, where we'll talk a little bit more about some of these subjects, a little more about the Jake Lang thing. I have like a different angle to it. We'll also be talking more about these Supreme Court decisions. How we do have one win out of Supreme Court. We do get rid of the Haitians. So, I mean, that is one win. So we'll talk about our one win, getting rid of the Haitians. And we'll talk about our real big blow, which is the end of the upholding of this birthright citizenship, which is like a real, that's probably of all the things for Trump to lose. I think that's actually, I guess the ballot thing's pretty bad too. Both are pretty bad. Both are pretty bad losses. But we'll talk about that and what to do, how we can do moving forward. So I thank everybody for coming out today. Thanks from Laverne. Thanks from Trevian. Thanks to me, Ben Jerby, producer of the Hood Conservative Podcast. And we'll be back to you next week. Tuesday at 2. Touch your neighbor and say Tuesday at 2. See you next week.